Welcome to Midwest Paranormal Presents Paranormal Soup. I'm your host, Jason Bland, and tonight we're joined by Evidential Medium, Brooke Ashley. She's going to be joining us. She's here now in the panel. We'll have her for the World Wide Web of Weird, and then later, the interview, and later, open the lines. You guys can call in and talk to her yourself, but that'll be later in the show, so hold your phone calls. But we do have a lot of weird to get into tonight. I'm so glad we've been on a roll with having guests. Knock on wood. And last week was Paul Wallace, was awesome. We've had so many great guests lately. It's definitely felt great because we had a good long line of open lines, which I love. You guys made those great shows. But I love having guests, and I love having a great medium on. And we're going to talk, what is evidential mediumship? We'll get into that. I know she's does classes for mediumship. You can ask questions about that tonight, and maybe she'll pick up on something or do a reading. But remember, if you call in and ask for a reading, it's not going to be like you're getting a reading from you should look up, try to find a medium in your area or from her, because it's a radio show. You're only going to get a few minutes of time. I'm going to cut you off, even if the dead are talking right through her, just so you know. But you can call in. You definitely can try to see if something happens. We don't know. It's Paranormal Soup. The weird happens here live every Sunday night. Like I said, speaking of weird, lots of weird in the World Wide Web of Weird, so we got a lot to get to. So let's go ahead and get rolling into the show. Welcome to another night of Paranormal Soup. As I said before, I'm your host, Jason Bland. Tonight, our guest is Brooke Ashley. How you doing tonight, Brooke? Welcome to the show. I got to unmute you.
Thank you so much for having me tonight.
Yeah, it's an honor. Like I said, we do this World Wide Web of Weird. Feel free to join in at any time with this. Just 7 articles that we do, and I try to keep it, the shorter articles I find for it, and weird stories as usual. And joining me as always is my beautiful co-host Jamie D. How you doing tonight, Jamie?
Doing well, thank you.
Frozen on my screen. I think it's frozen. It'll come back. You'll be fine. I don't know. The internet. We love it, right? But yes, we do have a lot of weird to get to, so let's go ahead and roll into the World Wide Web of Weird. Tonight on the World Wide Web of Weird, you remember last week when I talked about Obama leaking that they're real. They're real. Those aliens are real, thing. Yeah. And what did I say? I said, did he get a secret phone call after that from Trump saying, hey, loser? I can't do a Trump impression. I wish I could. I have so many friends that are so good at it. I cannot do it for life. I suck at impressions. But anyways, basically, in short, he called Trump, imagine Trump calling Obama and saying, hey, that's my disclosure. Well, the first article tonight, Trump claims Obama's recent alien comments were classified information. You can't make this crap up. You really can't. You really can't. Oh, the world is a nut house. We got, oh, there's Rob. Hey, yeah, get Rob in here. Maybe. I don't see a camera, but he's there. In spirit. Rob's somewhere there. But, this world is just so getting crazy, isn't it? So I'm going to just play. I could read an article from Tim Bindle from Coast to Coast here, whatever. I'm just going to play the video and let you hear from our president.
That aliens are real. Have you seen any evidence of non-human visitors to Earth?
Well, he gave classified information. He's not supposed to be doing that.
So aliens are real.
Well, I don't know if they're real or not. I can tell you he gave classified information. He's not supposed to be doing that.
Well,
he made a big mistake. He took it out of classified information. No, I don't have an opinion on it. I never talk about it. A lot of people do. A lot of people believe it. Do you believe it, Peter?
Well, if the president can
Well, I don't know what I believe here, because you're saying he revealed classified information, which only then I really can think of that it would have been classified information that aliens are real, and you're saying that he revealed it, so that means aliens are real. So next up, the next article, of course, after that then comes out. Let's see here. I think this one will just be the article. No more videos of Trump. I apologize. All right, so the next one. Trump says U.S. government will declassify its UFO files, and we were talking about that last Sunday, too, is that this has been rumored to be happening. And now he's saying it will. We'll actually learn this is the article says, will we actually learn anything this time, or this is a distraction? The whole distraction thing. Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead, Jamie.
Learn anything.
Oh, I'm getting echo.
I'm hearing it.
All right. Testing. No, I'm not. It's Rob. Sorry, Rob. Dang it.
I'm echoing?
No, we're echoing from you. I'm going to mute you for a minute. So you figure it out. Okay. Whoop. Nope. You got to mute. Oh, there we go. Okay. All right. So what were we going to say, Jamie?
I don't know how much it might be a distraction as much as I just don't think we're going to learn it. We're not going to get any information.
Yeah, that's generally been my belief on it, that we're not going to get anything useful or anything productive out of this. But, I mean, if the president's declassifying it, right? I've always said this is stuff in private contractors' hands. He can declassify all he's want. Doesn't mean that the DOD or any of these people are... They've already proven they don't follow what the president's orders are.
Yeah,
There's a bunch of examples. Right, so...
He's just the face. The presidents are a face for us. They really don't have that much power. The people with the power are the people around them.
They are not a face for us. That's the illusion. They are a face for some other big, powerful entity, be it AIPAC or whoever's paying the bills for that. They're a puppet. Exactly. We all know that.
That's what I mean.
I was joking that, because of the Epstein files, we will get alien disclosure. No, I didn't really think, we're going to actually get alien disclosure from that. We're not getting disclosure on the Epstein files. We're not getting disclosure on aliens. I doubt it. They're just, going to just keep dragging us along. But, and again, there has to be some kind of disclosure. What did I say? Because, people got cell phones, people got videos. We're literally becoming monitoring ourselves. There's cameras everywhere. We can no longer deny. There's so much stuff that we are at a point, I think it's been planned to do somewhat of an admittance to this and a slow rollout because they were losing control. And it's inevitable. So then we can go on to the next one, just for example. Oh, let me take this one down. Usually Rob would be doing this. He's had trouble with Dropbox, and then now we have audio trouble. Hopefully we get him back. This will be another video. A lot of videos tonight for those listening on the Paranormal Soup Radio Network, on the Talkstream Live Paranormal Radio app. for the Paranormal Soup channel there. We do have a lot of videos tonight. Sorry, I apologize. Usually talk about that beforehand. Off my game. All right, so this next, what is going on? My screen just went crazy. Everybody still here?
Mm-hmm.
All right, it's not liking this video I wanted to play. They're like,
It's Trump. Only I can have disclosure.
see,
No
she
one
even does a
else
better one. It's better impression. I
can
can't
have
do it.
disclosure. It's only me, because everybody loves me. And
See, look, she's just totally doing it. She's just totally doing it. All right, I'm gonna remove this. I don't know what this did to my channel. Trying to play it does not. This is the first time I've ever seen this happen. It does not want me to play this UFO from Costa Rica.
that's
It does not. Go watch it on Coast to Coast. I tried. I'm trying to play it and it blanked out the whole screen. So I'm not trying that again. We'll just move along. It's a UFO from Costa Rica. I was going to show it as an example, but I don't know. The aliens have gotten to StreamYard. I don't know. That's scary. I ain't touching the video again after that. But I have other videos. Hopefully it doesn't do that again. But yeah, it was a video from Costa Rica. You see this, UFOs zipping through. I mean, there's going to be plenty of that every day. People are taking these things. It's undeniable. They're not going to be able to hide anymore. I think that's what, and the snowball effect. Art Bell talked about this. Once you release a little, once you say a little bit, once you give a little bit of confirmation, it starts a snowball effect. And people ask more and more questions, and you're going to have to answer more and more stuff and stop, all the lies start piling up that you told for the last 80 years or more. Actually, hundreds of years, because I think we've been lied to by Orthodox religion and governments and all kinds of stuff. But that's getting into stuff. Let's get into space. All right, next up, space startup firm claims it can convert water into usable rocket fuel. This is Article 4. I'm a big NASA space nerd, and I believe we went to the moon. I know I have plenty of friends that don't believe we went, and all this stuff. But I like to think we're getting out there. We're going to make the space race happen right? On the face of it, turning water into rocket fuel might sound a bit like trying to turn base metals into gold, but according to General Galactic, a new startup headed up by former SpaceX engineer Halian Matson, doing this is not only possible, it could soon be generally achievable. The idea behind it is to use oxygen and water to produce rocket fuel through a process called electrolysis, something that could even be done in space or on other worlds. What about this world?
what
about this world? What about here? What were we doing it here? I mean, you can lift the freaking rocket with this. Why can't I drive my car with it? I don't know. Is that my take? It could be done this is what it goes on. If it could be done, then it would be quite revolutionary, really. As it could open the door to building refueling stations, for example, on the moon or on Mars. And now I know there's water you can get cheap, like out of the soil of Mars and the moon. There's water there. We got freaking oceans here, and I'm still gonna go pay whatever a gallon for gasoline. Yeah. I'm all for this, though. I'm all for the revolutionization of NASA and thinking big ideas to get us out into space. Let's bring some of that home. To prove this can be done, General Galactic is planning to launch a satellite in October of this year that will test out both chemical and plasma propulsion systems using the water-derived fuel. Of course, the idea is not without its drawbacks. Producing the fuel in space or on another planet represents a whole other level of challenges and difficulty. We also don't know how stable and practical the fuel will actually be. No doubt we'll hear more about the project once the satellite launches later this year. And, I just hear that poor guy's like, they poisoned me. Remember the guy who made water, water turned into fuel and all that, and he was poisoned, yelling out like.
Yep.
I'm just saying. All right, and then speaking of weird conspiracy theories like that, and water on other planets, that brings us up to our next article. Well, not article really. I mean, this is all over Facebook. I think I got a Facebook post here. This is not funny. This is actually very tragic. Astrophysicists who detected water on a planet outside of our solar system fatally shot outside his home. And now the internet loses its mind with conspiracy theories galore. But this is all we know. Renowned astrophysicist Carl Grillmeyer, if I probably butchered that, sorry, 67, who helped detect water on a planet outside our solar system and spent decades advancing our understanding of the galaxy, was fatally shot outside his home in the rural community of Lulano. You guys are California girls. Am I saying that right?
I don't know. I'm Washington State, so I'm a little.
Oh, you're
unfamiliar.
Washington. Never mind. I forgot. You just told me you were from Seattle. I'm sorry. But you're on that side of the town? I don't know. Jamie, I don't know. Lalano? California. That's where you were earlier this week. Authorities responded to calls of an assault with, what is it?
Spell it?
Lano.
Lano? I don't know.
Lano. Okay. I don't know. I'm not familiar with the place. Authorities responded to calls of an assault with a deadly weapon earlier Monday. Found him with a gunshot wound on his porch. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Officials arrested a 29-year-old suspect in connection with the shooting and linked him to a nearby carjacking. Charges now include murder, carjacking, and burglary. It's still unclear what the motive was or if the two men knew each other. Colleagues remember Grillmeyer as a brilliant and influential scientist who helped shape modern astronomy. This guy discovered water on another planet, and he's dead. And I know the internet's going conspiracy theory crazy. You know nothing. You don't know. You don't know. I mean, sadly, there's enough crazy people with guns out there and people getting shot and killed every day. The odds are there that it could happen to anybody, like an astrophysicist. But it is. The conspiracy theories could be. I don't know. I don't know. There's definitely a lot of other mysterious deaths out there. I definitely say people should be looking into. You know me.
Yeah.
But we'll move on. What's up next? Oh, yeah, this is definitely a video. I got to mute it right away when I play it here because it's going to play some crazy, wild music from China. I don't know. Oh, and then it's going crazy. Man, it does not want to do videos tonight. Damn you.
That is crazy.
Why is it does not want to do videos tonight? StreamYard, what is your problem? Oh, that sucks. Maybe we share
Even know what
screen.
we went through Wednesday.
Really? Well, you were on a different service,
And
though, right?
we stream, yeah.
All right, let me see if I can share the screen on this. Oh, this is a crappy way of doing it, but let me see if I can play the video. Because I really want to show this, dang it. Dang it. Was not prepared to do it this way. It was working so well the last several months, and
You gotta wing it.
yeah. Here it is, Article
You
6.
can blame it on Mercury.
Yeah.
All right. It's going to play this loud-ass music in my ear, but you guys won't hear it. Or no, it's muted. Okay, good. All right, do you see the video?
Yeah.
Oh, I played the same one.
Okay.
This is a
Oh, and then all right, so this video is going around quite a bit right now. We're covering always the rise of Skynet and everything. Insane show sees robots perform complex kung fu routine in China. It wasn't a long time ago. Humanoid robots capable of standing up and walking around without clumsily falling over was something of an achievement. Now, in just a few short years, we've seen robots capable of climbing upstairs, undertaking household tasks, and even as evidenced by this recent performance in China, performing martial arts. At one point, I don't think I have it in this video. One of these swords is like given a katana or something.
at
Like
the end,
it's tall.
he pulls it out.
Yeah, I
with the
didn't.
kid
He
knife.
pulls it out. Sorry. Yeah, he pulls out a big katana. Let's get swords. Well, that's not all anything China's doing. What have I been saying? They're building a robot army. We probably are too. But and then I see this. So you see this. You see all that crazy stuff they're doing, jumping jacks and kung fu.
And
then you
see
see
how
this.
they don't stumble? Like they just take 3 little steps and they can regain their balance. Like it's crazy.
Now and look at this. Here's those same robots in China being armed with. You see that right there? With a rifle, and armor, and being trained. Skynet is coming, and Terminators are coming. Just so you know.
We
Just
knew
so
that
you know.
was
Do I have another
happening.
video? Let me remove this for now. Do I have another video? I don't think so. The last one was
Just
not.
throwing the flamethrower.
Oh no, I do have a video, and this one needs audio. Damn it! I'm gonna have to. Don't talk during this video, both of you, because it's gonna echo the way I have to do it. But I really want to play this. So this last one, I want to play this whole thing, and then, we'll drink our coffee and talk amongst ourselves, kind of thing. I don't know on this one. Deep thoughts after this video here, because this is going to be a kind of a big "I told you so." And thank you, James, for the $1.99 donation. Thank you. But this is going to be a big "I told you so." I think here in a second, because I've been saying this is coming for a long time on this show. If I can get the dang video back, here we go. I'm gonna have to turn it. It's gonna echo. So if you talk, I gotta hold on. Dang it! I gotta unmute it now.
put your hand on your tummy and hum to him. You used to love that.
Let me rewind it a second. Hold on. It got way ahead of me here. All right, here we go. Baby Charlie.
Bigger. See?
Oh, honey, that's wonderful.
Kicking like crazy.
He's listening. Put your hand on your tummy and hum to him. You used to love that.
It feels like he's dancing in there.
Oh, honey.
Mom, would you tell Charlie that bedtime story you always used to tell me?
Once upon a time, there was a baby unicorn who didn't know he knew how to fly. This baby unicorn was like your mom because she didn't know that she knew how to fly, but she knew how to do all kinds of fabulous things.
Hi, Grandma.
Hey, Charlie. How was school today?
It was really fun. I made this crazy shot in basketball.
I don't really care that much about basketball. What about the crush?
Stop. Grandma, stop talking.
Just tell me one thing.
Look who's gonna be a great grandmother.
Oh, Charlie. Oh, congratulations.
She says that he's been kicking a lot, though. Like, a little too much.
Tell her to put her hand on her tummy and hum to him. You loved that.
You would have loved this moment.
You can call anytime.
Okay, Mom, I just need a quick video.
Is this like an audition or something?
No, Mom. Just 3 minutes.
You need my best side?
Can I see another one?
I can play the piano.
So talented.
I am. I'm your mother after all.
Keep going. Why don't you start by telling us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I was born as a very young child.
I would hope so.
All right, you can talk. Talk amongst yourselves now on that one. What have I been saying? What have I been saying for 10 years? Again, thank you, James. For 10 years on this show that we're going to get robots with guns, AI Skynet's coming, and we're going to be talking to our deceased loved ones. AI versions, copies of them, and they're going to sell it as the next afterlife, like that show Upload that I loved.
Oh my goodness. Oh my
What's your
goodness.
thoughts on that? I mean, as a medium, like seeing that.
It really concerns me, honestly, because it bypasses the grief process and it can really stick people in a place where their mind is going to this, it's just not healthy. It's not mentally healthy. Like I get the premise, but in reality, it's just completely unhealthy way to cope with grief because it just stunts the process. And I feel like it can re-trigger grief continuously. So it's like when that person wakes up in the morning and realizes their person's not there, that grief is just re-triggering because this mindset, it allows you to go into a space to like detach from that or deny the reality that that person is passed to the other side. And it can get, that can get into some sticky territory, I think. Yeah.
That's what like I said, there's this great show called Upload now, and in that they try to sell you in a sense that you were digitally uploaded to the afterlife. Like, no, you're copied to the afterlife. It's a copy recreated by AI of you, but it ain't you. And they prove that within the show's premise later on when they have a copy of one of the main characters. Like, see, there's another copy,
Yeah.
I just don't believe you can, do that. Now, these tech billionaires, they want that. They want you to put their brain in a jar and live forever or become robots. I don't know. That'll happen for the rich people.
Figure out how to add consciousness in.
Yeah, but this is they're going to try to sell this, to people as like it's your loved one. Capture their memory.
They're separating people from like the human experience. They've been taking away that human experience. They've been breaking families apart. We've been seeing that happen since COVID. Keeping people at a distance, getting people used to telecommuting and teleworking. And now people are getting, stuck on talking to inanimate objects and things that are not real. These are not real, but they.
Well, we've already covered how many stories on this show already of somebody doing something awful or whatever because they got in a deep relationship with AI.
But there's just so many ways this is developmentally just not right, and it's sad and it's scary for just humanity.
I see corporate America trying to sell a new digital afterlife. That's what I see happening.
Yeah.
It'll be
Yeah, and
completely meaningless because, you know, after they copy you with some AI, it's not you. You've gone somewhere else, I guarantee.
Yeah.
They have cryogenics and, you know, making the humanoids and everything, and growing the brains. We're just gonna pop this in here and this chip in there and this memory in there and clone this.
Well, that's how they'll sell. That's how they'll really sell it. You know, like, we can get a full copy of you if you put this chip in your brain. It'll record all your experiences, and then when you pass on, you'll be uploaded.
They're doing.
But you can't get this prime offer unless you get the new 666. I mean, the new chip. You know, I'm not a Christian like Bible thumper or anything like that. Don't get me wrong. You know, but you know, I've watched all the sci-fi movies. I've seen this show.
Right.
That beat the commercial I found really disturbing the other day. It was an Alexa commercial. And remember how I felt about Alexa after 2 weeks, convinced there was a camera in one of the holes. Well,
I don't know why you ever even had one, but
someone gave it to me for Christmas,
I know.
and I felt rude, and I was like, wait, this is like not right. So I tied her up, and she's in a trunk of a car I don't even have anymore. But now it's a computer. This lady wakes up, and the computer is looking at her with the camera, and it goes, "Oh, good morning. You said," and you see flames come up. "You wanted to be woken up with some roasts." So it says a couple of roasts, and the lady's like, "Oh, ha, ha, ha." And then she gets up, and then the thing says something to her. She goes, "Well, that's a good one." And she goes, "Remember," and she's walking out like she knows it and everything. "And remember, I can always take you back at any time." And Alexa says, "Yeah, but I know you're too lazy to do something like that." And the girl spins around and she goes, "Oh, you know me so well." And she walks out, and I'm like, ew.
Yeah. You know, this is just, like you said, disconnecting people from others and social relationships and humanity. And, you know, like, you know, we can all just live in our small, like, 10-foot little cubicles with our AI and virtual reality. And, you know, they won't need as many of us either because they got robots to replace us now. And, you know, but I have a brighter look for the future, I hope.
I'm just waiting for the Alexa in your trunk to get the cops called on you. Somebody help me from here. Somebody just trapped me in this trunk.
She's going to get pulled over and hear Alexa go calling for help in the back. That's it for the Roll by Bubba Weird. Tonight, Brooke Ashley, I will give a proper introduction when we come back from this commercial break, but we are going to commercial break. And we'll come back with our guest, Brooke Ashley, Evidential Medium. We'll be right back. And like I said, later we will open up the phone lines. You guys can call in and join this conversation, but we will be right back.
You were brought here for one purpose, necromancy.
A ceremony dating back to the pre-Christian era. It's the art of reviving the dead. It requires involvement with evil spirits by the person performing the act.
The devil god brings life to the dead.
No, please. No, please.
And death to the living. Necromancy. Starring Orson Welles and Pamela Franklin. From Cinerama releasing. In color, rated PG, parental guidance suggested.
If you are interested in discovering the truth about the paranormal and want to hear from leading researchers in the field, join Justin Brown on his 3 weekly shows named My Paranormal Soapbox, Necromancer Live Show, and the Supernatural Symposium, live on Facebook, YouTube, and InterfaceDeath.net.
He is conducting an experiment into the combined effects of sensory deprivation and hallucinatory drugs. The subject of the experiment is himself. and the experiment is out of control. Ken Russell's Altered States, a film that must not be missed, is in the West End now. Altered States, Certificate X.
Hello, I am Fernando Martinez. I think by now you know I am an emotional kind of guy. People stop me in the street and say, Fernando, what the hell is wrong with me? Silk shirt, hairy chest, enough aftershave to drown a household pet, but I still cannot get a woman. I tell them you are an ignorant fool. Without a symbol of power and fertility around your neck, what kind of woman is going to respect you? That is why I have teamed up with Medallion Man, the shop for medallion needs. Medallion Man caters to all levels of masculinity. For the strong, silent type, a medallion the size of a hubcap will say everything that needs to be said. Even singing medallions for the Casanova, who knows music is the food of love. Model trains, dollhouses, diapers, whatever your interest, we've got a medallion for you. Don't forget, every woman knows if you can't support a medallion, you can't support a family.
This is the sound of a space clock aboard a U.S. satellite 180 miles above the Earth. No one winds up this timepiece. It's powered by a tiny battery, a battery that delivers power for years without replacement. Now the same type of battery, the Duracell battery, can bring new reliability and long life to your battery-operated equipment. Radios, cameras, toys, all run far longer. Duracell batteries, the long-distance power cells, outlast any ordinary battery. The same type of battery that keeps space clocks running for years can bring long life to anything powered by batteries. Dura, as in durable. Cell, as in power cell. The Duracell battery, made by Mallory.
Switch to DCS ranging.
240, nominal to profile.
We're in the pipe. 5 by 5.
Tonight on Paranormal Soup, our guest is Brooke Ashley. Brooke is an evidential medium and a paranormal investigator with Earthly Imprint Paranormal. For the past 5 years, she has trained with some of the best in the field, developing a clear and compassionate approach to spirit communication. Brooke travels the country giving gallery readings that bring healing and closure, while also leading paranormal investigations that explore the unseen. A frequent presenter at metaphysical and paranormal conventions, she regularly hosts events throughout the Pacific Northwest, blending evidential mediumship with hands-on exploration of the paranormal. And we're going to get into tonight. What is evidential mediumship? And actually, it's one of my favorite forms of mediumship when it comes to at least speaking with somebody's loved ones on the other side, is because you have to present somebody with some kind of connection or evidence that this is really the person you know coming through, or what impact will it have on them. I've experienced it. I've known evidential mediums now, doing this for 10 years, and I think it's one of the things that fascinates me the most is this kind of mediumship, because you can really feel the energy when it really is happening between a medium and a person, or you yourself, or you're in the room with it. There's a connection. I call it God. You know, you feel it, this energy, love. That's all it's about, and that's the biggest connection we can have with the other side and our loved ones that have passed on. You can do it yourself, in my opinion. You can communicate with your loved ones. You just have to be open to it. And tonight, I hope you're open to our guest, Brooke Ashley, because she's got a lot to talk about on this subject. And you can call in later in the show after our next commercial break. After that, you'll call in, join the conversation. But let's go ahead and get to our guest. Brooke, again, it's an honor to have you on the show tonight. It's the first time on here, and I hope we have other times too after this. But thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. I'm excited to be here.
So, first off, I'll let you tell what is evidential mediumship.
Yeah. So evidential mediumship is just a type of mediumship where you're bringing forward evidence and information that the person in front of you that you're giving a reading to should be able to understand about their loved one. Because when we talk about mediumship, it's really mediumship as a whole is just connecting to the spirit world. So there's lots of different type of mediumship. It could be like past lives, it could be Akashic records, it could be spirit teams, spirit guides. So when I say I'm an evidential medium, it just means that what I'm doing is connecting to your loved ones, and you should be able to validate the things that I'm bringing forward in some way.
For me, I became like my first, like when I was a teenager, they had John Edwards crossing over. Remember that on Sci-Fi?
Yeah.
And, like he would say stuff out in the group, and like like, oh, you have a brick in your purse, stuff like that. I remember that as just one of the instances. And to me, it's like, yeah, that's what you need for this. You have to have some kind of connection.
Mm-hmm.
With they have to be able to prove that they could say, like you said, when somebody else tells me your Akashic records in your past lives, it really doesn't mean anything unless I experience it. Go get a regression. I'm nothing against anybody that does those readings. I'm interested in hearing it, but it's not going to have like an impact.
Right. Yeah. It's different because you are with someone who could essentially tell you anything and you can't really refute that, right? So I always say if someone's going to get those types of readings, great. But if it doesn't resonate with you, leave it. You know what I mean? So if you I've had an Akashic Records reading, and the only person I'll ever let touch me with an Akashic Records reading, her name is Liz. I think her last name is Houston. And it's just because when she gave me the record, I knew her from previous, but she's like the girl next door. She doesn't look woo-woo or anything. You would never know she was an Akashic Records reader. But it resonated so deeply that I actually had like an epiphanic moment where the light bulb went off, and I was like, I can put to bed so many things that I have carried with me because now I understand where it comes from and I'm okay with it now. And it resonated so deeply with me. So I would say if you're going to get those types of readings, if it doesn't resonate with you the second that it's being told to you in a way that like changes you, it's probably not real. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I wouldn't pass on that information. Like somebody's like, you want to know your Akashic record? I've done it on the show. Like, let's do it. Lay it on me. Yeah. And I've had people on here that I've connected with what they've said. Definitely. Like they definitely are, they don't know nothing about me. I mean, I've been doing this for 10 years. I don't, any of them bothered to watch my show. Take the time, I'm saying, like, even then they don't really know me, and so, I believe in when they say this, and I've had people do the Akashic records and stuff. But what I find, what has always fascinated me is this form of mediumship, like you're talking about, when somebody's loved one is coming through and saying a specific piece of information that there's no way this person could know.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep, exactly. And it's funny because I don't know why it's like this for me, but I'm a skeptical medium, and it's a little weird because I'm just like, and it's like, Brooke, you're a medium. Like, people do that to you all day long, but the difference is I don't really care if people don't believe what I'm bringing forward because I'm not here to convince people, right? But I'm also one of those people who's also a little bit skeptical. So I don't know. I have to.
You have to be.
Yeah, I have to be. If I'm going to do mediumship, it has to be evidential, because I don't know if I'd even trust myself outside of that, So people are like, well, why don't you do Akashic Records, or why don't you tap in? Well, I've done classes, and yes, I feel like I could do it, but I'd always be second guessing myself because I'm not getting that validation. You know what I mean?
Right. Some people, they're very firm. They know what they know. They're doing what they do. And there's nothing against that. But like I said, for people to understand, I want people to be open to the idea that there's more to this world and that your loved ones are with you. Evidence like that's extremely powerful. And I've always been a fan. No, so, obviously, probably, I know from your bio on that too, but that you had experiences as a child. You want to talk a little bit about some of the experiences you had as a kid?
Yeah, I don't remember ever not having them. That's how far back they go. I mean, and I don't ever remember thinking anything off about it in terms of like, I have to figure out like what's going on here? I know other people aren't having this happen. I don't ever remember thinking that, like something is different here. I guess looking back on it, it just was normal to me. It made sense, I guess, all of the paranormal stuff that would happen to me. I definitely grew up in a haunted house. I definitely grew up in a space where there was a lot of energy going around, but I don't know if it was because there's a lot of things that kind of lead up to something like that, I think, happening. First of all, not only am I mediumistic, but my older sister is mediumistic, highly mediumistic as well. And we were both adopted. I was 4 when we got adopted, and she was 7. We weren't allowed to be separated.
You're not blood related.
Oh, we're blood related.
Oh, so you're blood. Okay.
Yeah. So we were put up for adoption by our paternal grandparents, and we weren't allowed to be separated. So the couple who adopted us took us both and was like, yeah, we'll take 2, and we have great parents, wonderful, amazing parents. But I think the mix of the trauma we were enduring before the adoption, the fact that we're both open and mediumistic and we're adopted, I think it's just probably like a trifecta of some sort.
There's one other factor I've always considered in this. Reason I always, as somebody who I used to do paranormal investigation, and people want to talk about what's going on in their house and stuff like that. I always go, well, let's talk about your past. Where have you lived at? Have you had any other experiences in your childhood? The reason I'm saying is, I feel some people if they are children, they grow up in a place that's extremely energetic when it comes to these kind of things. It has open portal or activity like this, that it can change them. Leave them open more to seeing or being later on to become a medium. Yeah.
Either that, or because the child is a medium, they are experiencing.
It's drawn to it.
Yep.
Right. Right. That's the other factor. I didn't grow up in a haunted house, but for me, I had experiences all the way back to my earliest memories. My mom telling me stories and stuff in my memories. I remember talking to a little girl in a white dress to find out that there was no little girl in this apartment complex I played with, no physical little girl there. And I would always say, bye, little girl. And my mom would be like, who's that? And my little girl I'm talking to. She found out from a medium who knew all these things about patients she took care of and all this stuff. She knew all this stuff about my mom she shouldn't know. And she also told my mom, she goes, oh, the little girl your son talks to is your daughter you miscarried.
Oh, wow.
I remember the little girl. And I remember my first experience was seeing a green floating head with my cousin Phil float through this room. I know I've talked about it a billion times, people. But it floated through this room, like screaming and yelling. He didn't hear the yelling. It's weird, but I did. But he could see it, and he remembers it. I remember it. And at that point, in my 4-year-old, 5-year-old brain, roughly around that time age, I decided, well, if I seen that, then anything's possible. Like I saw Ghostbusters Slimer, reminding me of the same green glow I saw on this woman glowing head thing. Yeah. And I was like, well, that could be real. I was a huge fan of Ghostbusters when I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've always loved shows and movies about the afterlife because I believed, and I grew up in a very, Gnostic kind of, household. My mom's now a Buddhist, but, it's never been any dogma really in my household. So I was growing up to any of this stuff is possible. And I've seen a ton. I have a lot more experiences out there. I won't get into it. It's not about me. But, I'm saying as a child, I had a ton. And it's and I didn't grow up in a haunted house, but sometimes I wonder, if kids are somewhat affected too by the location they grew up in. Besides their genetics, which I do think is a play, and of course, big time in it, and of course, there's the whole past life thing and everything else involved as well. Yeah. There's a lot of factors probably, but what I find common, there's not many. I think mediums come around like, nope, nothing weird ever happened to me as a kid. Never believed in any of this, and just one day I've had one I know I can think of right now actually, but then suddenly now I'm a medium. I just started talking to the dead. It's not usually. Yeah. It's usually all the way from the earliest memories, different experience than most people have in their childhood.
Yeah, I agree with that. I feel like that's usually the consensus. I think I know one medium as well that I believe had said that they didn't really have much of that going on in their childhood either. They just went through a spiritual awakening and boom, they were a medium.
It does happen.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, right? And like you say, it's a lot of times it's the land, it's the location, it could be a million different things going on for sure. I know that the spirits
and trauma, like you said too.
Yeah,
trauma definitely plays.
Trauma for sure. I don't know what was going on in the house I grew up in. I don't believe it was human spirits at all. I think they were elementals, honestly, because my parents.
What would you see? That's what I was curious. What kind of things you would
It
see
was
as a kid?
more clairaudient, like people whispering
Okay.
in my ear, people calling
Ah.
my name, feeling like a benevolent force, like in the corner. Just like I
Right.
remember one time the wall started shaking, and then I was like, "Oh my God, something's gonna happen! Something's gonna happen!" And then the scaffolding on the side of the house just fell off, like boom, 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 boom. My dad was like redoing a window or something, and he came like barreling out of his room, but I knew it was coming. I could feel it. The whole house was, I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, I'm so scared. So just things like that, but I never felt like it was a human spirit. I didn't feel that way because I've had human spirit hauntings in houses that I've lived in after that, to the point where I saw full body apparitions just standing there staring at me. And that was not what was going on in the house I grew up in. Plus that house was not there before my parents bought the lot. It was just woods and forest.
Ah, so new house on property. So yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah.
There's, I was gonna say, so that's the thing. You could have been exposed to something even more unusual just in a haunted house. You know, that could change your energy, you and your sister. I don't know, but you know, there's, like I said, there could be a lot of factors into it. So you went, you know, I said you were in this you've been into this the last 5 years. I mean, so what kind of started you down this road of evidential mediumship?
I've always found mediumship fascinating, like always found it fascinating. I've been watching paranormal television since I was like 15. I'm 42 now.
I'm 46, so yeah. I've been watching it at the beginning of
like
it.
I started with like taps, and the only thing we had back then was like taps and a haunting. And so those were the two that I would just watch, like
I love a
binge watch.
haunting.
Right? I swear I could have been a demonologist by the time I was 19. I knew so much about it, you know?
Yeah.
But it was just, it's always been there for me. And then as I grew older, you know, I never put it to the side. I've always had experiences nonstop. But then when Teresa Caputo came onto the television, I thought, oh my gosh, maybe there's a place for people like that. I still didn't realize I was a medium at the time. It wasn't until I saw Cindy Kaza on television that everything changed. I saw her and I thought, that's it. That's exactly what I'm talking about. That's mediumship with paranormal, that's it. You know, I've been waiting to see something like that. And so I kind of was drawn to her. I followed her on Facebook, and then I realized she was having beginners courses, and I took one of her beginners courses. I thought, I'm just going to put this to bed. I'm not a medium. I'm psychic, but I'm not a medium. So let me just take this course and just once and for all, I can put this to bed and say, I'm not a medium. I'll just have to deal with my psychic abilities that don't do anything or go anywhere, or because no one tells you how to be a medium. And then I took the class, turns out I am a medium. So I've been going ever since.
Yeah, see, that's what I think. It's like, I've never had a class or opportunity to here where I live. And I would be interested in it. There, there's some people like, oh, join a spiritualist church. I'm like, I'm not joining a church.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. But no disrespect to them. It's not something I want to do.
Right.
But like I had an experience that convinced me this whole thing's real. When I was a paranormal investigator, I actually wasn't on an investigation at that time. My wife was taking me to her girlfriend's house, new boyfriend's house, whatever. And I know, guys, you've heard the story, but she hasn't. And when I got up to the house, I got the feeling right away, and I've had this feeling before, that there's something already watching me as I walk up to the steps. It's just a feeling. And then I walk inside, and I see all these, empty alcohol bottles this guy has up on his fireplace, and something's like, man, I want to drink. I don't drink. I don't like to drink. Back then, I didn't like to drink. In my 20s, definitely not now. But even then, I didn't like it. So I know that was odd for me to feel that way, like I want to drink now. So that was weird. And I turn to my wife, and I just go, something's off here. There's something here. And my wife goes, he knows. She had brought me over there. This is why I married her. She brought me over there to see if I'd know, because her friend already told her that her new boyfriend was talking about all these shadow people things he's seeing. I had this whole horrible shadow person experience myself, and other weird things happening, and they wanted to see if I'd know if I walked in, because I usually do. So then he proceeds to pull out this photo album that was left behind by the previous owners with a bunch of different pictures in there, including this deceased individual in his casket. There was no name on it or anything on it, and he just handed me the photo. He goes, that's the guy that lived here, and his family left this behind, and they won't call me back about it. And I suddenly just blurted out his name's Bob, or his name's William. He goes by Bob. He goes, that's crazy. That is his name. And he did go by Bob. I'm like, oh, okay. I don't know why I just said that. It just came out of my mouth.
Yeah.
He walks out of the room, and my wife and her girlfriend are going, well, what's the last name? Do you know the last name? I'm like, I don't know why I said the first name. And I just sat there, and I could hear this little voice in my head just going, Eiler, like a whisper. I'm like, something like Eisler, something like that. And he comes back in, and his girlfriend goes, what's the last name of the guy? He goes, Eisler. And his girlfriend slams her hand on the table. She goes, see, you something going on here? And I go, I don't know. All I know is, and it's just like a knowing. There was no voice telling me this. It was just a knowing. Suddenly I just said it out loud. I said, there's stuff hidden in this house. His family didn't want this album because he was awful alcoholic and really a lot of resentment there. And they just wanted to be done with him. Mm-hmm. And he left a bunch of World War II stuff hidden somewhere in this house. Yeah. 2 weeks later, she finds a hidden compartment under the stairs with all his medals and World War II stuff.
Wow, that's awesome.
But that's the only time that's ever happened to me. And like I said, like you were saying, like how do you use it? I don't know. I don't know why that happened. It's the weirdest thing in the world. But it made me a believer that these things are very possible. Not that I wasn't already kind of believe that it was possible, but that convinced me. You know, that definitely people have this ability.
Yeah, definitely. And you clearly do. And the thing is this too, it's like people think it should be this big earth shattering, like there's dead people in front. It doesn't work like that. It's literally, you could do it again. You can do it again. All you have to do is just shift your awareness, shift your awareness. That's it. And then you could tap in again. Yep.
It was like that, like a shift in awareness. Like I just realized that I'm not alone here in my head.
Yep. Claircognizance.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
And then, like I said, it was just like this tiny whisper. It could be my inner voice just telling me this,
Yeah.
Like, so, like, I don't know how you go from that and go on to, like, it was a crazy experience. And I've never had it again. And it scares me to try to, like, do you venture down that road? And that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
I'm married 22 years now, and that had been a couple years after. So, yeah, it's about almost 20 years ago that happened. Yeah. I've done tarot readings, and I've done stuff like that over the years and messed around and all that. But I've never, like I'm going to fully commit to this and try to learn it. So when you did, you with these classes, what were some of the things you learned, like, right off? I mean, I know you can't, like, tell us the secret, to mediumship in one night or anything, but, like, what were some of the key things you learned?
First of all, there is no secret to mediumship. I want everybody to hear me when I say this. Everybody who's watching, there is no secret to mediumship. Everybody has the ability to connect to the spirit world. Everybody does.
I believe that.
It is not, I am not special. I am not gifted. Everybody has it because we are spirit. We're just living a human experience. So I always tell people, how could you not be connected to and tapped into something that you already are, right? So I highly believe everybody has it, right? So for me, I feel like when I tapped into this, it was that the things that were really helpful was having a teacher who was clear, concise, to the point, no BS, got down to it, and told you the quick, easy things that you really needed to understand about mediumship, because it's such a big world and there's so many people out there who have rules around mediumship. And I don't believe in any of that. Like I always tell my students, like, when you come to do a class with me, you will connect to spirit that day, because there's not some big trick. And there's a lot of teachers out there who will purposely stop you from being able to connect because they're threatened by maybe you would end up with an ability that's stronger than theirs. I have no qualms about getting straight to the meat of it and teaching my students exactly how they can connect best for themselves and take that wherever they choose to go, because your mediumship is not going to threaten my mediumship. The more mediums out there, the better, right? For the spirit world, and we're all different. So it was having a clear, concise teacher to teach me, what are the clear senses? What does that mean? What are your clear senses? How do you tap in, and how do you trust? Trust that mediumship is so subtle that you will think you're making it up. And because I had a teacher who allowed me to do that, it just took off from there. I started training 6 to 8 hours a day, every day, and I never stopped. And then around the 3.5 year mark, I started charging for readings.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. It's like trusting yourself. I know from my friend Katrina's told me over the years. Well, she's like, I go with whatever the first thing. Like, she just and take it as it is. This is what I got. Like she said, you gotta trust yourself is one of the things she told me. And that's like the worst thing for me. I'm the overthinker on everything, so I don't think I could ever really do it. But at the same time, like, I agree. Like, I think everybody has this ability to connect to spirit. I think that's what happens in churches when Christians are saying they're connecting with the Holy Spirit.
Yep.
Is that they're connecting with, I believe God. I believe in a higher power. I believe in a God. I believe in I call it the Force. I felt it. I was saved by it. And this thing was all about love, and that's it. And that's all I know. That's what I'm convinced of is out there waiting for me.
Mm-hmm.
No judgments. That's my opinion. That's my experience. I go by my experience. But that feeling, I know people will talk about that feeling they've gotten in as Christians in the Holy Spirit coming in. I'm like, that's the same feeling I got.
Yep.
On my own, but I think people coming together in groups is a powerful thing too. It brings in this love. What is it about? It's about love, connection, family, why we're here. I really believe why we're here is to connect with others and learn together.
Yeah.
And, and that, I think that it's a power, I call it the Force because it's powerful. And like, I'm saying, like, it can make the divide between the other side to here, that love, that connection.
I agree. And I can look at it from both sides too. So, I mean, I can look at it from the side outside of dogmatic and inside dogmatic, because although my parents were agnostic, they put me in a Christian school at a young age because it was a smaller environment and they just thought it would be a better education. Smaller environment is better for a kid who's had some trauma. And so I grew up with this Christian ideology in some sense. There were things about it that didn't make sense to me, like being punished for things. And like, I just felt like God was love. But I felt that being saved through some really traumatic, really messed up stuff in my life as I got older, as I got preteen to teenage years. I had this like, God literally talked to me, came through like a window. So I had that dogmatic moment where it was like my belief was inside of that dogmatic space. And then I had a spiritual awakening about 8 years ago. So I felt it outside of that dogmatic space. So I felt it both ways. You know what I mean? And
You felt the fullest. That's what I don't want to describe it. It's lots of people have had this experience for thousands of years. I call it, people call it God, whatever.
Yeah.
And if you have it, you feel it, it can change you dramatically. And I was only like 18. That's what the whole Monster Quest episode's about. It was my shadow person experience when I had mine.
Mm-hmm.
This thing attacked me until the moment I was, I basically humbled myself before God. But I went to a Catholic school for my freshman year of school, so I got faced with all the dogmatic stuff there. Nothing against Catholics, dogma in all the religions, but I faced it there, and I was the type of person who wrote a whole essay in my theology class at a Catholic school about how, from the point of view of Jesus as an alien.
I love
that was me. That was me. My theology teacher, she was awesome. She gave me an A+ and said very imaginative.
I love that. That's awesome. That's
what I'm saying? I'm not, so I'm big. I actually love religion. I in a sense, not organized religion, but I love, it's knowledge, it's spirituality, it's people who were thinking about these questions back then. I don't like materialism,
right.
Where you think everything is just this material world and what's the hottest thing they're doing on Instagram or something crappy like that. Like deep thoughts, inner reflection, love and connection. That's what churches do for people. This is what I do here on the show on Sunday night. I'm not saying I'm a church or anything like that. Please no. But we come here to commiserate and commemorate together with my great chat room and people that come here every night to share in the love of the weird and unusual. I call it my church. We have to have community. So I get why they have spiritualist churches and all that stuff in this too, because again, you probably as a being a medium, you face the critics and say you're talking to demons.
Oh, all the time. All the time. I always say this. I say, oh my gosh, you're so right. Because I know when demons wake up in the morning, they go, oh, I can't wait to help and deeply heal some people so they can talk to their loved ones and feel just so connected and happy, and they can move forward with it. I can't wait. I'm like, I would love to see that demon, you know?
Right. That's your point. This is the point, though. Like, people think, oh, she's just taking people's money and make them think they connected it. They don't understand the therapeutic thing that happens for people when these connections happen.
Right.
Because I've seen it. I've had it and witnessed it myself, you know. People that haven't experienced it, they don't understand, I think, most of the time when I talk to them about mediumship, about this. Like, you don't know until you experience it.
Yeah.
How it can change people.
Yeah, it definitely does change people. And I think it's tough because I feel like true and honest mediums are always fighting against the stigma of the fact that there are people out there claiming to be mediums, and in reality it's not mediumship what they're doing, right? So then people are looking at someone who is saying, oh, I'm a medium, right? I mean, like, gosh, look on TikTok, and it's like I'm always fighting against, like, people come in and they're like, are you real? I'm like, well, why don't you just watch me read for a little bit? Because they're so used to oh, it's your grandma, and she's got an apron on and she's in the kitchen and she's so proud of you and she misses you and she loves you. And there's the reading. I'm like, where's the evidence?
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. So yeah.
Generically slip in grandma, apron, cooking, cookies. See, like my friend Katrina, she came on here, and I had a friend, actually a relative on here, and she told him about the cookies, but she named the specific recipe and how she made it special for him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, saying that's evidence. You know, you know what I'm
Plus
saying?
She had
Like,
her brain scan. They did that whole brain scan on her.
yeah, definitely. That that. We'll get into that about the science of this too later. But on this, I want people to understand, like, you know, I think a lot of people in my chat room, they do understand. But I mean, if anybody else watches the show and you don't understand, you know, get a reading from somebody, hopefully that's good and you can trust. But right, there's fraudsters out there. I mean, there's fraudsters in any of these realms. You know, there's plenty. I can name some. You know, there's definitely fraudsters, and con artists within any field of interest for people. You know, that they can get you
every day.
And this is you know, mediumship's gone back a long time, and it has a history of it. You know, con artists are going to be con artists. You know, I'm gonna say we're not going to avoid it. Just like the spam phone calls on your phone. You know, they're going to be there. But I proof is in the pudding. So if people are aware, what are some of the things people should be looking for if they go for a reading for evidence?
So you want to be looking for verifiable things. Different mediums bring through different things. And I'll also say this, just preface this before I move into what you should be looking for, is watch mediums work and understand and realize that we're human, we're not robots. So we may have days where we're, you know, feeling a little fuzzy every now and then. Or we may be working, you may be watching us work with a sitter who is like, it's pulling teeth and they're saying no when it's actually yes, and you got to pull teeth and everything else. So you got to you watch the medium work for a little bit, but you should be looking for things like not asking a lot of questions, not fishing for information, not letting not letting that person. So if you're watching a medium work to see how they work, not letting the person feed them information, right? So a good medium doesn't really want anything other than like, yes, you understand it. No, you don't. You're not sure. The only time I am okay with like a little bit of banter is if like I say, oh my God, I keep seeing pickles and he's laughing so hard. Would you understand that? And they'd be like, oh my God, he got his hand stuck in a pickle jar. That's okay. But what you don't want is to be like, oh no, this person is telling me they weren't very well towards the end of the verse. Like, yeah, they had cancer or stage 4,
Don't give them information.
Yes, that's what I'm feeling. And then so they can infer things off of what they're being told. So you don't want a medium who's letting the person feed you. You don't want a medium who's asking a lot of questions. You also don't want a medium, you want to look out for vague information that anybody could take, and it doesn't go any deeper than that, right? So of course there's going to be stuff that a medium might bring up that could be generic, but then it's about the things that aren't generic and the things are. So I usually, for me, like I kind of have a name, rank, and serial number that I started with when I started working, which means, hey, spirit world, I would like this to start. and then we can move out from there. And the reason being is because I wanted to do gallery work, which means standing on stage with the audience in front of me. So I needed very specific information immediately in order to dwindle it down. So I like to have male or female, about how old they were when they passed away, and usually what they passed away from. Because in an audience, that will narrow it down really fast. Instead of if I said, I have a male here, he was like, a fun loving guy and he loved his family, I'm going to have 50 hands go up, right?
Yeah, well.
So, yeah. So for me, I kind of start there and I move out with a lot of different things. I just let spirit speak. I just let them speak. I try not to have too many parameters on the spirit world because it's not my reading, it's their reading. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Going to how they passed is probably the quickest way to get to the nut. You know what I'm saying? It's the quickest way to cut right down to who we're talking about. Because I've seen it. I've seen the gallery readings by other mediums, and I've seen it that usually they mention how they died, then the hand goes up.
Right.
They'll say the age and all this stuff, and a lot of people are kind of looking and like, I don't know. And then as soon as they say how they died, you might get a couple hands. I've seen that happen. You get because a lot of people can go out the same way, right? You see a heart attack, and then you got like a bunch of hands going up. So you got like the age, male. Sometimes I've seen mediums throw out a couple other little key pieces of information, try to draw somebody's attention, like to a certain person.
Right.
But how does that work for you? Like when you're doing that, like I've always wondered the gallery readings, are you, like you said, it's not like the Sixth Sense. I see dead people. It's not like that. So what is it for you? Is it images in your head, or is it the hearing the voice?
It's all of it. So, when you're working as a medium, when you first start, you'll usually have a couple of clairs that are stronger than the other. The hope is that you've trained so much that you've learned each and every clair and learned to recognize it, understand it, absorb it, and be able to relay what you're sensing through all of your clairs eventually. So a well-rounded medium should be able to use all of their clairs. So I might see a gentleman in front of me that looks like he was in his 60s when he passed away. I might hear the name Joe. I might smell Old Spice. And then I might feel like my left arm going numb. You know what I mean? Like physically feel that. So they do a lot of physical sensations for me. They really like to give me that clairsentience. When I'm choking and trying to hold it together, people are like, oh, Brooke's got someone here who had a throat issue or they passed away. But they'll give me bits and pieces through a different clair each time. I just open up and listen, and they give it to me however they want to. I just have to be on alert as to how a piece of information is coming. Yeah. And then in gallery, it's just like when you have those two hands go up, I usually try to give not just those three things, but then two other things that would be a little bit
that's
like
what I mean.
Two kids, one is a girl and one is a boy. I know they have, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To narrow it down. But this is the thing. A spirit is really smart. And I get piggybacks constantly. And the reason being is because they're like, oh, you're Mike, I'm Mike. You had a heart attack, me too. You had two boys, I had two boys. Let's go get our messages together. And you'll have two people with their hands up almost the whole time. So what I'll do is I'll go, you know what? Mike's, I'm going to split you now because we've got enough of the same information. I've gone for 7 minutes. They both need a message. So I'll go, okay, this Mike, hold on. And then I'll say, once I focus, there's something very pertinent and specific to that person about their loved one that they need to hear. Message done. Then I go over here. Message done. Something very specific and pertinent to this person. Right now I got 2 messages in 7 minutes instead of 1. Right? Because spirit knows what they're doing and they know how to utilize my time. Right?
Do you think, like you said, one trying to hit check, I always wonder what that process is on the other side, right? I've heard some mediums say they have spirit guides that kind of help them on the other side to guide this. Do you believe you have something like that?
Well, we all have spirit guides for sure. And my spirit guides are helpers. They're helpers, but I honestly trust the spirit world so much that I've learned through a lot of really great mentors who have shaped my mediumship in a way that is so cohesive and blended that I love my spirit team, but I kind of don't want them in my person's way. I want that person so close to me that it's like they're alive and we're having a conversation. I don't want anything to get in between me and that spirit person because respect that person. I care about them. I remember them a lot of times, you know? So I want them as close to me and to feel as one-on-one with me as they possibly can. The only time I call in my spirit guides to help me is if I'm clouded, I've had a rough day, I'm tired, and I'm like, spirit team, I'll tell the spirit person, I need you to be close to me, but if I'm getting fuzzy, I need you to tell it to my spirit team, and then they'll funnel it to me. That's when I'm like off. That's the only time I will really get my spirit team involved. Other than that, I want the person on the other side as close to me as possible.
Do you have like practice or something that you do, like prep to like get ready for like a reading with either a gallery or with somebody else that you do to kind of like prep your energy or get you into that kind of state?
I don't actually. I used to when I first started, because I feel like we're told all these things and we think we have to do this and we have to do that. And to be honest with you, I think I finally realized it was just getting in my way. And so I know and trust that spirit is like, yeah, I want to talk to you. Yeah, I want to talk to my loved one. So I trust that when I'm ready and I go, okay, time to go, guys, boom, line up, that I'll switch my awareness. They'll be there. So I don't really need the rituals. I think it's important to take a good look at your energy centers and make sure that you're not getting clogged up. If you need an energy cleansing from someone you trust, or Reiki from someone you trust, grounding yourself, just things like that through your daily life, drinking water, staying hydrated, taking salt baths as I need them throughout my daily life, just as a human and a spirit, of myself. I think just putting those rituals into your life will keep you in a space so where I don't need to okay, let me spend 5 minutes with the spirit world before I start,
Yeah. I say everybody has their process. I was just curious, like, if you had to do anything to because I know, man, every day, I swear to God, man, I got something aching or hurting. I'd be clouded all the damn time. I'm always clouded. I don't know how I could get my energy up to do that. I would feel like you have to I would have to get my mind somehow centered in that. Like, no distraction is hard, man. I'm going a million miles a minute. It's hard for the spirit world probably to get through to me. As surprised it did in that one instance that it did, I'm glad it did, because it convinced me like what you do is real. Like I had a paranormal mentor in investigating. His name's Mike McDowell, and I told him about that experience because I was going to classes at that time when this all went down, and I couldn't wait to get to class to tell him about this experience, right? And he's like, oh, yeah, you had like a John Edwards thing going on. Like, we all get that sometimes.
Yeah.
It happens, And he's not wrong, because I've seen it happen to other investigators, that were, have this experience kind of like similar, So and like I said, everybody can, I think, do this in some sense. Some people are definitely born more apt to it, obviously.
Yeah, I agree. And well, like my mentor said to me and says to all of her students, she would say, everybody can play chopsticks. Not everybody's going to be Beethoven. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so it's just, for me, like with that, I super ADHD as well. And that's part of the training process. And when you say like, oh, my mind is too busy, that's part of the training process when you start, is sitting in the power and sitting in meditations, just even if it's 3 minutes a day to 5 minutes, then to 7.
I do meditate.
Yeah, right. So the more that you can quiet your mind and get that, like to stop for a long period of time, it gets a little longer, then it gets a little longer, then it gets a little longer. And that's the space where you allow spirit to be in there with you. So I always say, like, the longer you can kind of train yourself to like quiet your mind, the longer you can hold a link to spirit. So it's just part of that training.
See, and one of the things that's happening sometimes when I've meditated, I'll see like, like you close your eyes and you get the purple in your vision from like the chemical reaction of the sudden darkness from light in your eyes. Yeah. I'll see that purple, but it'll turn into images. Like, it's not, you see stuff in your mind's eye, like, in your imagination. This is like, I'm seeing it in like a movie show being played in front of my eyelids. And I don't know if that's something I can use, or if that's something trying to communicate with me, because I don't understand the images I see sometimes when this happens. And so I don't. When you say you see somebody, is that in the mind's eye, or is that like the sixth sense thing? Like where they're seeing it? Like, 'cause I have had that experience where I have physically seen a spirit. I think
Yeah, I have two, twice. One in one house I lived in, and one in another house I lived in. They were full body, like full body. But it's always subjective, which is in your mind's eye. For me, I feel like it's super
That's
rare
what I
for
thought.
someone to, yeah, like be an objective, like clairvoyant. That would be scary. I feel like the
Right? Wouldn't
reason
that? I would want that, right?
right, and I think the reason most people are not objectively clairvoyant all the time, it may slip through here and there every once in a while, is because the spirit world and the universe knows how jarring that is to our nervous system, that we probably wouldn't be able to handle that. That's very jarring to the nervous system. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God.
That's a good point.
So, yeah.
Get out of the shower and there's a ghost standing there. There's a great show called Ghosts from the British version and then American version. I love
love that show.
You do love it? See, she's like constant. Like, imagine if you could.
Right.
Like, they were always there. I don't think anybody mentally could take it. Samantha in that show, she's something special. Like, I don't think anybody mentally could take that constantly.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So there's got to be a boundary or borders people have. Like you said, you ground yourself like sometimes after or whatever, salt baths or like that.
Yeah, grounding is really important, and I think a lot of times people are like, I don't really know what that is, and I feel like people are like, you have to ground yourself. You have to, and there's all of these rules to grounding. I think a good way is just to close your eyes, put your feet on the floor, and imagine that roots are growing out of your feet into the earth. Right? That's a good, nice visual way to do it. But I think people sometimes are like, great, but I don't even really understand what grounding is. So I feel like I like to tell people this. Grounding is where you are literally nowhere else but right this. Nothing else exists. Not the past, not the future, not what you're having for dinner. So what I tell people is if you want to learn the art of grounding and you're not sure where to start, go outside, like on a, it could be a sunny day, a rainy day, whatever, right? Go outside and watch the leaf that just fell from the tree. Watch the squirrel moving around. Just watch it and pay attention to it. Watch the grass like moving. What direction is it? That's grounding because you're nowhere but that moment. And I think it's going to ground you so fast. So I tell people like, I don't really understand what grounding is. Like, go outside and just watch things and just be in that moment with whatever it is you're seeing, whatever it is you're hearing. You heard the car pass by, you hear an airplane, you hear the birds chirping. Where's the bird? That's grounding to me because you're not anywhere else but the moment.
No, it makes total sense. And, I was into, it's like kind of the Buddhist thought, live in the now, mindfulness.
Mm-hmm.
I use a Taoist method called scooping the loop, basically, where I feel I kind of feel like, I don't know, ever since when I started getting into this stuff, like after my shadow person experience and all that, I can feel energy, the chakras. I didn't even know what a chakra was. I thought my brain was exploding, during all this. And I've been, I started doing paranormal investigating, and two of the investigators were Reiki trained and all. They're like, oh my God, you're all over the place. We need to balance you, But I can feel the energy. I can feel it like coming from the earth. Like I'll feel like this like energy pull through my feet, and then it comes up through my spine, up through my head as I breathe out, and it goes down through my chest and out. I feel the energy, and that's my way of grounding. And I read this Taoist book that I learned it from Barefoot Doctor's Guide to the Tao. And it's helped me for years. Like I said, ground myself. Stable myself, like especially in all kinds of different situations, but also spiritually.
Yeah, absolutely. What do they call that? Isn't there a word for that?
There is. He called it scoop. Yeah,
I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
yeah.
But that's what has helped me. I think people would benefit a lot from just taking that the breath meditation. Breath meditation is just to relax yourself for one. Take a minute. Slow down. Take a break.
I agree with that completely. That's actually where I started when my spiritual awakening started happening. I literally started with there's this thing of this breath work, and let's start at the very easiest beginning. So I would stop 4 times a day, and I would take 4 huge breaths in and a breath out, huge breath in, and I would stop and I would do that. And I'm like, I cannot believe how much that's actually changed me. I used to be wound crazy, just wound. People would be like, don't make her mad. Like, don't. I was so wound. You know what I
You
mean? I was
wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
right. You know, just kind of a control freak. And like, I would just get panicked about things I couldn't control a lot, you know, and just, it would come out and just me getting very agitated. And when I started doing this breath work, I couldn't believe how simple it was, yet how much it was changing me. Like it was unbelievable. So for anybody who's like, well, I don't know anything about breath work, all you have to do is stop multiple times a day and take like 3 huge breaths as deep into your chest and belly as you can and let it out until you feel like you cannot let out anymore. Then do it again. Then do it again. Just do that like 3 different times a day. Just say, I'm going to stop and take the 3 breaths. Then move on with your day. Then midway through, then move on with your day, and then at night. And I think it changes. It is. It's a wonderful.
I missed some of it. I had to give a cat some medicine, but if I start feeling like anxiety coming on, or I start feeling tense, the breath work can solve things so quick. And I do like the 3 breaths. I take it in through my nose as deep as I can, hold it in, and then let it out through my mouth. And I continue doing that, and I feel so much better.
Yeah.
Now, you're as a paranormal, you're also a paranormal investigator. You're in Earthly Imprint Paranormal is your group?
Yes. Yep. That's my group.
So what's the difference between, how do you approach it when you do, I mean, it's definitely a difference when you're doing a mediumship between somebody else and going to a haunted location. Are you guys doing like residentials, or are you doing like just historical kind of, what do you guys do?
We go where the wind blows us, but it's mostly historical. So we just get really lucky in like our friendships that we make. And I mean, we're friends with Chris Fisk out in Butte, Montana, and he's got basically the keys to the most haunted city in America, in my opinion, you know, and we get to just kind of go in there and have the place to ourselves and investigate. So we usually do those types of locations, right? And it's really just me and my partner Martin, are Earthly Imprint Paranormal, and we just, I don't know, we just get lucky. We go, we have an adventure, we have fun, and we're going to start a paranormal docuseries here very soon. We're going to link up with Jeff. Gosh, why am I forgetting Jeff's last name? He's an author. He's fantastic.
Well, welcome to my world. I forget people's name all night long on this show.
Like, yes, it's going to drive me nuts. I'm like, Jeff, what's your last name? Starts with a D. But he's an author, and he writes these really incredible books.
Dwyer for San Francisco, like Jeff Dwyer.
I think it's
like Haunted San Francisco.
Yeah, like Haunted Washington, Haunted Oregon, Haunted. Yeah,
sounds like Jeff Dwyer.
Might be Jeff Dwyer. I'm not sure. 'Cause he does like the Haunted San Francisco. And...
Yeah, he's an author. He's really incredible. It's Jeff Davies or Jeff, I don't know. He was just on. They literally just put out a docu-series with him featured on it on A Flash of Beauty, Bigfoot Revealed. So it's that.
We had those guys on the show.
Yeah.
See, I'm trying to remember.
Was it A Flash of Beauty or was it Tobe Johnson?
It was the Flash of Beauty people. I know I've had them on. God,
okay.
See, I'm not trying to remember names of who I had on for Flash of Beauty. I know I had 2 people associated with that on for that.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I can't remember now. See, we all forget names this late at night. It's all right.
I know, like it's the worst. It's so late, you know?
Yeah, it's like the 2 mics coming through. It's like, hold on, mics.
Right. But
imagine being the guy, the poor souls on the other side trying to come through, and you're both Mike.
What's up, Mike?
Both died of a heart attack. Like, man, how basic can we be?
What's up, Mike and Mike? Double mics. But yeah, we'll be doing like a docu-series with him because he does these haunted tours out of this location in Vancouver, Washington. So we'll be starting there. We'll be doing St. Ignatius in Washington as well. in Colfax, and then probably the Lighthouse in Port Townsend. It's Fort Worden. So just different locations that we'll be starting our paranormal series. I'll be doing all the editing and everything like that, but it's a series we're going to be starting soon. So that's going to be fun to release. I don't know who we're going to release it with. I am with the Spirit Realm Network right now. I have a show every Tuesday on the Spirit Realm Network, but we may pitch that to the Spirit Realm Network as well. So yeah,
As much creative control that you can keep it.
Yeah.
So what's your process when you go to one of these like historic locations?
So essentially I do a walkthrough, mediumistic walkthrough. And then after I do the mediumistic walkthrough, then I spend like 20 minutes doing some research while Mart is setting up all the equipment. Because I don't want to know anything prior.
Right.
I think one of the big bummers of being a paranormal investigator and a medium
Right.
is the fact that I have to keep myself in the dark. People get to talk about all these cool locations and I have to be like, la, 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 la. So, luckily I get to get into locations that are not well known. So I don't run that risk as often, like Silverbow, Millionaires Club, Silverbow Center in Butte. It's not even open to the public. People don't paranormal investigate there. That was one of the best locations. And then you have Chris Fisk, who is like, he's walking you around. What are you feeling? What are you feeling? And you're saying it, and you have like a living historian essentially next to you who knows everything about Butte. Nothing is off limits to him. And he could tell me in real time, like, oh my God, yes, you're right. Oh,
That
so
is
it's nice.
awesome. That is the
Yeah.
best.
Right.
You get
It's
the
nice to have-
validation right there.
Right on the spot.
Even as a paranormal investigator, I'd like to always not know everything before I go in.
Yeah, you
so
go
I'm
in
not
cold.
predispositioned to say or go down the wrong area because I have some pre-knowledge that makes me think I should go this way or do this. I just want to
Or you
feel
hear
what's going on.
something And you're like, oh, it must be this or that.
Yeah, that's definitely something that Martin and I make sure we never do. We don't care what the stories are. We go in with a completely open mind because you do not know what you're going to get. And if you don't listen and you don't pay attention, you're not going to get the correct story. Example being, we've done Manresa, I think 2 or 3 times, had the entire castle to ourselves, right? We got lucky enough to have it to ourselves. Thanks to the woman who was working there at the time. She got us in the attic, in the turret. She got us in the, we were literally in the dirt on the subfloor. And the story is that there was a priest who had hung himself in the turret when it was a Jesuit priest society. Well, there's no evidence of that, right? And we don't want to be led any
That's a perfect example.
Yeah. So we went in and it was clear what we were getting was like a man who was like really conflicted, not very nice. And then he pokes us every time we go. Like he says really nasty things, calls us really nasty, just like, am I getting under your skin yet? Am I getting under your skin? And we found out his name is Frank. No one had ever figured out who he was. They just assumed he was a priest at the Jesuit Society. So my history-loving self, I spent, I think, like 8 hours researching everything I could find on that. And I found documents, and my friend Ali found documents that no one had ever seen on Manresa. After all these years, and it's known for being a haunted castle, no one had found these documents. But there were 2 priests there named Frank. One of them left and got married. And the other one, nobody knows whatever happened to him. He just disappeared off of paper.
Or that's the way they cover up somebody, doing exactly what they said happened,
Mhm.
But either way, that's what I love about that with the mediumship in a haunted location like that is not knowing and then getting to go back and go through the records and then finding the stuff that like validates what you felt and saw. I think that's awesome. We got to go to commercial break, and then we're going to open up the phone lines when we come back with our guest tonight, Brooke Ashley. She's an evidential medium. Call in, join this conversation. Maybe Brooke can pick up on a little bit tonight, but remember, you got about 5-10 minutes at max for a phone call with her. You want to check out our website? It's mediumbrookeashley.com. We'll get more information out too, and I'll have the phone numbers for you when we come back from the short commercial break. Just wait to call in until we come back, but we will be right back.
He is conducting an experiment into the combined effects of sensory deprivation and hallucinatory drugs. The subject of the experiment is himself, and the experiment is out of control. Ken Russell's Altered States, a film that must not be missed, is in the West End now. Altered States, Certificate X.
Do you wish for more paranormal and spiritual content? The Paranormal Chronicles magazine is a free digital magazine crammed with the very best in paranormal and spiritual articles and features. No sign-up, no subscription, just free reading and knowledge for you. Read today at www.paranormalchronicles.com/magazine.
Join us every Wednesday night at midnight Eastern Standard Time for Weird Wednesday, the live stream, with your hosts Jamie, the Living Dead Girl, and Rob, the Phantom, where we'll talk about all things paranormal, including zodiac, astrology, tarot card and oracle card readings, live ghost boxing and spirit communication, where we'll do Voices from Beyond, the Cold Case Files. So we hope you join us live on Facebook and YouTube every Wednesday night at midnight Eastern Standard Time. We hope to see you there. Bye-bye.
Paranation Magazine is a new paranormal magazine based out of Denver, Colorado. Our goal isn't just to give you the best paranormal content out there, but to promote paranormal unity. We're doing this by giving everyone an opportunity to tell their stories and to share their experiences. For more information, follow us on Facebook at Paranation Magazine and soon, paranationmag.com.
I've Never Met a Dead Person I Didn't Like is the extraordinary travels of a young, alone, and broke psychic in the highly anticipated new book from internationally renowned psychic, medium, medical intuitive, and best-selling author Sherry Dillard. Critics have described I've Never Met a Dead Person I Didn't Like as an engrossing memoir, an empowering story of how a broken girl came to accept her psychic gift, a refreshing and fun read. I've Never Met a Dead Person I Didn't Like is available through Amazon, Kindle, Barnes & Noble, and wherever books are sold.
Wrote Spirits of the Dead with a pen dipped in warm blood. You will see the ultimate in terror with this important all-star cast. Brigitte Bardot, Alain Delon, Jane Fonda, Terence Stamp, and Peter Fonda in Edgar Allan Poe's Spirits of the Dead. Only Poe's demented genius could bring to the screen such horror and evil. Spirits of the Dead stars Brigitte Bardot, Alain Delon, Jane Fonda, Terence Stamp, and Peter Fonda. Directed by three masters of the cinema, Federico Fellini, Louis Malle, and Roger Vadim. Spirits of the Dead is an adventure in terror beyond your wildest nightmares. Spirits of the Dead in color is rated R.
The answer to the ultimate question of life, the universe, and everything is $42. Yes, I thought it over quite thoroughly. It is, it's 42. It would have been simpler, of course, to have known what the actual question was.
But it was the question. The ultimate question. Of everything.
That's not a question. Only when you know the question will you know what the answer means.
You're listening to Paranormal Soup, bringing you the weird every Sunday night.
Call into the show and join the discussion. The call-in lines are 219-230-4444 or 260-225-9419, or by Skype caller ID OOJBland00 or JBland Paranormal Soup. And now to your host, Jason Bland.
Tonight's guest is Brooke Ashley. She's an evidential medium and paranormal investigator. We are going to open up the phone lines now. You can join this conversation tonight with our guest. She is an evidential medium, so I know she might come get something, might be able to, get a connection. I don't know. No promises made, but you also only have about 5 or 10 minutes. Just remember, mediumbrookeashley.com is her website, and I'm sure she got some other. We'll make sure we get whatever is the proper way to connect with her out tonight. So if you want to connect with her or whatever, if you've never had a reading from a medium, find somebody you trust. Go have that personal, pay for the reading. Do it. Try it out. But like I said, do your research, get your recommendations. But we do have stuff happen on the show. I've had a number of mediums on the show. We have some great calls. So I'm looking for the night doing that with Brooke tonight. I already got somebody in the line. If you call and it hangs up on you, that means the line's full. Somebody else is on. So just wait till they get off the line and try calling back in. We got a lot more to get to, so let's go ahead and get back to our guest. All right, Brooke, we already got somebody calling in, so we'll get to that phone call here in just a second, but thank you for continuing on with us tonight. For people to connect with you, mediumbrookeashley.com, that is your website? I want to make sure I have that right.
Yep.
Okay. I just want to make sure
Yep.
Okay. All right. Just want to make sure I'm not saying the wrong thing tonight on that. All right. We do got somebody on the line. Who do we got?
Michael.
Hey, Mike. Another Mike.
Hey, how you doing? How you doing?
Doing good, Mike. Thanks for calling in.
Yeah. Okay. Brooke, hello. Never spoke with you. I seen a couple of your ghost hunting videos. I was looking you up a little bit. You're awesome. I was just going to have a question. I would like you to use your gift. That you have that you discovered, and use that and forget about all the philosophy and Aristotle and stuff like that, metaphysics. But the soul, to me, is a body that could probably be photographed. It's us. It's like around us. It's like connected to the silver cord, if you will. It's kind of odd because like everything is connected. Like when you have a baby, it has an umbilical cord, and I've seen pictures of that silver cord, the etheric, the energy, that energy body. But my question to you is that to me is the spirit. That I think to me is the spirit, but the soul may have something to do with the consciousness that and the memory and the consciousness. And I was going to ask you what you thought about that, and how it relates to the way you see it with your gift. Go ahead then.
Yeah. So I feel like it's interesting because we hear things like the spirit and then we hear things like the soul, right? As if they're separate. I feel like they can kind of all be encompassed in one because we are a collective. We're a collective with everybody else, so it's all kind of interconnected. So I guess I would say it like this, like, I don't believe that the soul is all in the physical body. So maybe what's in the physical body is the what we call spirit. But I believe the soul is so massive that it doesn't even fit into the physical body. That it's why we say we have things like our higher self and things of that nature. And if I went down the rabbit hole, I could talk all day about the fact that like the soul is so massive, we have our higher self, but then maybe I believe that everything's happening all at once at the same time. So maybe our soul is in 1,000 different lives that's all happening right now at the same time, because time is a construct, right? So where really is the soul when it comes down to it? It could be everywhere. It could be all of those things. And it's another reason I always tell people that I never feel like spirits are stuck or earthbound. And it's
Ooh.
because my belief is that the soul is so massive that we're already on the other side. It's just a piece of us in the physical world. So what might remain behind would be a fragmented piece of the soul or the spirit that stays behind. And when it is ready, it will reintegrate with the whole soul. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'll go back and what you just said a couple times. You know what I mean? Later, because this is being recorded. So yeah, but no, it does. It's a massive endeavor to try to and to use our intellect and our heart, our intellect and heart to discern what this is. George Meek supposedly took a series of pictures where in his laboratory, and you know you could see the silver cord, and you could see in the picture that what's behind him. I mean, you could see right through him, like he took a picture of the spirit or the etheric body, huh? So, but I think maybe what you're like referring to a little bit is an embodiment. Like I was looking up the definition of spirit. Like it connects to what we call soul. It's a connection, but it's like one, like you were saying, and it's like divinity. It's there's no time and space. You know, there's nothing physical. Well, I mean, it encompasses the physical, but you know what? I mean, we can even get into frequencies, like vibrational frequencies. You know what I'm saying? But you know, Jason, I'm going to look this up. I saw a video of a guy that was in a motorcycle accident. It was a security camera that this guy got killed instantly, and on the video, you could see him. He got up out of his body and he took off running. It was crazy.
Sounds familiar.
I showed it to my buddy.
Send that to me.
Yeah, I showed it to my buddy one time and it freaked him out. But yeah, this dude just got up out of his body and took off. You know, but it reminded me of that etheric body, that energy body, if spirit, if you will, huh?
Yeah.
So anyway, that being said.
Well, thank you, Mike, for calling in, man. Deep thoughts by Mike, as I always say.
Yeah, man. Thank you, Brooke. Nice meeting you, and good luck with your ghost hunting endeavors going forward, huh? And God bless. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mike.
Okay.
You know, like I mean, I get into like the Egyptians. They had the soul wasn't just one thing. You know, you had the Ba, you had the Ka, you had, the soul was divided up into, some say 9 or 7 layers in a sense. And like you said, there's like a higher self. And I would like to think, as being a paranormal investigator, you've heard like little children's voices come through on EVP, right?
Yeah.
Do any of us really want to think that a little child's soul is left behind there? I think it's a fragment of this reality connected to that soul left behind, maybe.
I agree.
I hope, at least. I hope no child ghosts are really... But I've had weird experiences like that. We got the lines blowing up, so I better take the next call because I got to hang up on somebody because I already got somebody else waiting on the line. Like I said, guys, tonight, if it hangs up on you, just wait. Try calling back in just a little bit later. If you hear somebody get off the line, then that's when you want to dial in. We got somebody else on the line. Who do we got?
Linda.
Hey, Linda. How you doing?
Doing all right. I'm on speakerphone. Is that all right?
So far, it sounds all right.
Okay, all right. Great show and enjoying this evening. A question for your guest, and it's kind of one of those things that you think you know the answer, but you're not certain. I grew up in Texas, right on the border of Juarez, actually. So, but I have had an overwhelming fear. You know how people are afraid of spiders and stuff? Mine is getting trapped in a car underneath water. And so my question is, could that be a past life fear?
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely. I truly believe that any sorts of fear that you come into this life with that you have no explanation for and there's no reason for is more than likely connected to another frequency of your existence. So, like I said, it's a past life, but because I don't know that, time is a construct, that it's absolutely something that's connected to your soul in a way. It's like a soul memory that kind of sticks with you.
Yeah, I've always wondered that, and I'm just gonna, it never made sense considering where I grew up.
Yeah.
If I grew up near a large body of water, I'd say yeah.
Yeah.
But so, and then my other question is, do you do private readings?
Yes, I do private readings, and there's actually a huge coupon code right now. So, what a better time. But my website is mediumbrookeashley.com, and you can book a private reading with me there. But make sure if you're going to do that, you want to use the coupon code 65 SALE. So it's going to be 65 SALE. And you go to check out, and that's going to give you $65 off of your private reading. And I do private readings. They're a half an hour.
For a half an hour?
Yeah.
Okay. Fantastic. And then I just contact you through your website.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And I guess my last question is, do you pick up anything around me, or?
I definitely feel, would you understand a male on the other side that's like a brother that would be passed?
Yes. Uh-huh.
I feel like he's coming through just real quick to say hello, but he's making me feel like, would you understand there to be a lot of dynamics in your family where things weren't fixed before people passed away?
That's funny. Yeah, actually, yes. It's something I was just discussing yesterday. Go ahead.
Yeah, so you've been thinking about that lately then?
Yeah, yesterday actually it came up in a conversation.
Yeah. So I feel like this male is talking about not being worried about the way that things were left or sticky messes that happened after the parents passed away. Do you understand that?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Right.
It's funny because, you learn to just let things go. It doesn't matter anymore,
Exactly. So I feel like it's interesting because both your parents would be passed. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Because I feel like I see the couple there and they're like smiling and talking about the fact that you've always been the person who's able to let things slide, but not everybody in your family's like that. You understand?
Yeah. That would be true.
But it's just kind of a smile for you, just a smile for you on the other side from the people that you've lost before you, just letting you know that they're glad that you've been able to kind of let things be like water off a duck's back for you. Because I feel like it could have drove you crazy if you didn't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, actually, it did for a little bit, but, when you get older, you just, at some point, it is what it is. Yeah. And you can let it control your life and destroy it, or you could just say it is what it is and move on.
Yeah.
And I guess that was the attitude I took to it. When I brought it up, actually, when I brought it up in conversation the other day or a couple days ago, I was like, yeah, and I felt guilty talking about it because it's not an issue anymore.
Right. Yeah, you don't have to feel guilty. It's just your loved ones on the other side giving you a big hug and they're good too,
Yeah, right, exactly. I get it. And I got a question for you. Being in the field that you're in, where's your curiosity level on cases that are unsolved?
Like criminal cases?
For crime.
Or like...
Yeah, criminal.
Or missing people or that kind of thing?
Yeah, I do missing persons cases. I actually just took my first major missing persons case last week, as a matter of fact. Wow. So, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And now, do you go in and research the case, or do you just kind of try to go in as cold as you can?
I go in completely cold. I think it's the best way to do it. You have to go in cold. You can't have any preconceived notions because they can shift you so fast. So really what I do is I need permission from either a direct family member, they need to come to me and ask, or a police officer who's probably, if he's calling me, extraordinarily desperate at that point. Right. But yeah, they basically, I
It
have them,
happens.
yeah, I have them
There's a
fill
lot
out
of cold cases.
lots of cold cases. They just fill out an intake form and then I go from there pretty cold. So yeah.
Hey, Linda, thank you for calling in tonight.
Okay, you guys have a great evening.
You too.
Thank you.
Shout out to Josh Turner himself for the $20 donation. Thank you, Josh, from Paranormal Roundtable. Very much appreciated. And I know people are trying to call in. I got a message. Here we go. Here, I think this is somebody who's been trying hard to get through. Who do we got on the line?
Hi, this is another Mike.
This is the other Mike. We got Mike's.
Like I'm psychic.
Yes.
It's like you're psychic. Hi, Mike.
Yeah. Exactly. How y'all doing tonight?
Doing good, man. Thanks for calling in.
Good. Yeah, of course. Thanks for taking my call. I'm new to Paranormal Soup, but I've been enjoying the show. I just wanted to call to just send our love and support to Brooke. She knows I'm Mike. My friend met Miami. She knows us. So I just wanted to stay up late, send in our love and support to her. And I had a quick question as well, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mike.
Yeah. How's it going? So Miami wanted me to ask you. She wanted me to ask you, what's the difference between like your paranormal activity that you investigate versus like the loved ones that you connect with? Like, what makes the one paranormal and like the differences between them?
Yeah, absolutely. So when I'm working with somebody's loved one on the other side, this is like like there's not a lot of extra going on there, right? I'm going directly to the spirit world to connect with information specifically to connect to the person who's in front of me, getting that reading so they can be connected with their loved one again. But when I do a paranormal investigation, I need to be open to so many different layers. This is going to be what's going on in the land, what's the residual energy, is there a paranormal like active haunting going on, like, so I'm remote viewing the past, I am seeing people, places, things that were going on. So when I walk into a paranormal investigation, I could be seeing the things that went on in a certain time period. I'm getting names, I'm getting situation scenarios. I am bringing forward information from whatever energy is still there that needs to be addressed. So it's like trying to read a book, essentially.
Gotcha. Okay, I hope I got her question right because it was so hopefully that's good enough. But
no,
I appreciate that. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. I just wanted to call and just give our love and support. And next time you're on TikTok, we'll be there. So, and hopefully we'll see you in September. So
I hope so. Thank you so much, Mike. Tell Miami I said hi.
Miami, I don't know.
Will do.
You guys should, Rob, that couldn't make it tonight, is in St. Augustine. You make your way down there that way, or up there if you're coming from Miami. Go to the St. Augustine Lighthouse. Look up.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah. We took my kids. That was the best part of our Florida trip years ago. We did all these things, but the thing they had the most fun was doing the haunted tour at night at the St. Augustine Lighthouse. It was a lot of fun. Well, thank you, Mike, for calling in.
That's awesome. Of course. Have a great night, everybody. Thanks so much.
Yeah, you too.
Bye.
But yeah, like doing an investigation at like a place like St. Augustine Lighthouse or getting to go to these places. I miss doing that. Like we did that as a family. It was so much fun. The kids loved it. Liam, my youngest, and my wife both heard like a voice and thought something walked behind them. They had an experience. It was great. We got to do it again. It's like family ghost hunting trip.
I hear it's crazy haunted, so I'm not surprised.
It was a lot of fun if you get to go there.
Yeah.
So you do, doing these mediums tonight, you got a little bit there with Linda and, but doing these readings, I mean, do you have any that you think really stand out to you, like really even shocked you by what evidence came through?
They all stand out to me in their own special way. the laughs, the fun, the personalities, the sadness, the connections. But I think the ones that really pull at my heartstring, because I feel like whatever you have going on in your life or whatever is closest to your own front door is going to be something that hits a little different. And I have an 18-year-old son. So all young boys are my boy. So mothers who've lost their teenage or a young adult son hits really hard for me because that connects with me and my emotions. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that to me, it's like I'd be the hardest thing to handle. I mean, but at the same time, if you're able to give that connection to a parent, that's amazing.
Yeah.
You know, because there's no words for that kind of grief or anything you can say. People, you know, there's nothing, you know, people can say, but if you can give a connection to a parent, you know that, you know, I think a lot of people, I think when it comes to like understanding if they have this ability or not, it's like, well, why can't I connect to my loved one on my own? Like, I think people that have had experiences, like, why can't I hear from my loved one? I've had other things come through. Do you think that grief blocks that connection?
Yeah, well, I think grief can be a huge blocker because the energy that comes along with grief, it's like static on a television, you know what I mean? It really can put that in between you. But then I also like to tell people that we as mediums don't connect any differently to our loved ones as y'all connect to your loved ones. The
Yeah.
reason that it seems that way is because we're the third party and we shouldn't know it. You already know that your uncle liked to gamble and that he was hilarious and that he always wore his red shirt every, Friday. And you know those things. So somebody coming into the middle of it who doesn't know it makes it seem all fantastic and wild. But in reality, it's just because we're the third party. So we connect to our loved ones the same way everybody else does through signs and symbols. Like the song comes on the radio, the same bird keeps flying in front of your house. Yeah. It's all the same for us as it is for everybody else. Yeah.
Synchronicity, I say. I mean, I believe that's how God works. The force, whatever, is a lot of times communicating through us through animals and synchronicity, and that the spirit world. To me, it's all one consciousness field. To me, God, us, all the spirits, we're all connected to one big consciousness field. Like gravity has a field, there might be a field of consciousness that is godlike or whatever. But I really think it's all just one consciousness field we're all connected to. We're all ripples in one big ocean, and we go back to it, and we're all a part of it. And that the biggest way to connect to it, I believe, the most powerful way is love. Love.
Yeah.
We got another person calling in. Who do we got on the line?
Hi, it's me, Jason.
Hey,
it's Zariana.
How you doing?
How are you doing?
Doing good. Glad to hear from you.
Oh, great. Wow, I got in.
Yeah, there are a lot of calls tonight.
Oh, I want to know if she's any messages or anything she sees. I'll keep it simple tonight.
Yeah, definitely. Were you kind of looking to hear from a loved one, or were you looking for me to just see what was around your field?
Kind of loved ones. My field. I don't know much about.
Like field, just like psychically, what's going on with you?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, that. Okay.
Yes, please.
Yeah, you got it. So, what's your first name, honey?
I don't give that out.
Okay.
She goes by
It's
Zariana.
Okay. Perfect. That works.
We know her as on this show.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. So I feel like I first want to say that you would understand that you would have had like a lot of traumatic stuff growing up. I feel like you have not had it easy at all. Would you understand that?
Yes, correct.
Yeah. But I feel like I just want to talk about the fact that you've spent a lot of time like lowering that hard shell. And I just feel like there's a lot of like praise and happiness from the other side, just for the simple fact that you've worked really hard at being able to kind of like open up that shell a little bit. You understand that, honey?
Yes, correct.
I also see a lot of purple around you, which tells me that you're highly psychic as well.
Yes, I am.
Yeah. So the purple is telling me that you're highly psychic, and I feel like that I can see it in your auric field just by like connecting to you psychically. So I just want to talk about the fact that your psychic ability is really good because it helps you to kind of know people's intentions before they get too close to you. I feel like you've always been able to read people very well. I feel like it's kind of a back and forth too, because I know that there's times in your past where you felt like you should have been able to read somebody better than you did, but it was only because your psychic ability at the time was being clouded by other things like trauma. So as you've been able to kind of like pull some of that trauma off of you, release it and stuff like that, I feel like your psychic ability just gets stronger and stronger and stronger. Do you understand that?
Yes, correct.
Yeah. I also feel like, because I see a lot of orange around you too, and that's creativity. So I feel like you feel most at home when you're being able to create or be creative. Do you understand that?
Yes, correct. Yes.
Yeah. So stay creating, always stay creating. And it's a great place for you to release trauma, even if you don't realize you're releasing trauma when you're creating. So I feel like that's really important for you to stay creating at all times in your own way. Okay. Does that make sense? Do you have a dog on the other side? He keeps running in circles next to me. Oh my gosh.
I had one a long time ago. I've had a lot of cats since then.
Yeah, he looks mid-sized to me. He's not big and he's not tiny. He's middle.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I just
Correct.
wanted to mention it just because it was distracting me. So I just, if I don't bring something up, it distracts me. But essentially, I feel like I just want to say, like, I know that you've lost a lot, like a lot. You've lost a lot in your life, but it's really important for you to know that, like, you've come a long way, and every loss that you've suffered, you haven't allowed it to, like, completely shut you down. So I feel like keep creating, keep trusting that psychic ability because it's only getting like stronger and stronger. But yeah, does that make sense, honey?
Yes, it does. It does.
Perfect.
Yes, you're correct on all points.
Good. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Blessings to everybody here, Facebook, social media. Jamie, Rob, I miss you. I like seeing you for a little bit.
I know,
and yeah, thank you. Thank you. I'll let other people call. Thank you.
Thank you, Zuriana.
Thank
You have a great night.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Yeah, sadly, you lost Rob tonight. Dang it. Technical issues, like we didn't get Rob back in. He probably couldn't get the echo to go away, or he was afraid it was going to come back. But yeah, Zuriana's great, and yeah, she's called in for so long now, and I know you were hitting some of the nails on the head from the stuff she's told us. So, but like I said, people can only get so much. They only get a little bit of time. Getting an actual reading from you would be definitely worth it. I say, people should check out your site for that. I will. Well, we don't have a call. I'll say, do you pick up anything for me?
Well, it depends. What do you want? What do you want me to pick up on?
If I have any loved ones on the other side that want to come through.
Why don't you give me the name and relationship of the loved one you want to hear from, and I'll ask them to come forward right now.
Vera, grandmother.
Your grandma? And what was her name?
Vera.
Okay, grandma. Okay. She's really, that's interesting as she steps forward. She's sweet as pie. There's something about her that melts me like the second she steps forward. And I feel like you're her baby. Do you understand that? Like,
yeah,
you're her baby. There's something about her that's like really, really sweet, but she's making me feel, though, this is interesting because she makes me feel like, people felt like they didn't get a proper goodbye when she passed away. I feel like there's something about people feeling that there wasn't really a real goodbye. So would you understand her to either be incapacitated or not able to, like, something going on with her mind around the time she passed?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. For sure.
Okay. Because she's like telling me people felt like I wasn't there to say goodbye properly too. That makes sense?
Completely. 100%.
Yeah. And so she's telling me that she's sorry people felt that way. But she's like, I want everybody to know that, like, my soul was there. Like, I heard everything you were saying. I saw you coming to visit. You understand that?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's important because she makes me feel like people are worried that she didn't know that they were there, So it's just important for her to be able to come through and say that she was there. I also feel like, is this your mom's mom?
Yes.
Because she's talking about her daughter. She's like, oh, my daughter, my daughter. And I feel like there's something about stuff landing on the plate of her daughter that wasn't all her daughter's. Does that make sense? It feels like it should have been the amount that your mom might have been holding on to. I feel like a daughter was holding on to or having to deal with at the end. Maybe could have been split up a little bit better. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, because she's like, I just need my daughter to know that I knew the extra that was being put on her plate and that the pie wasn't being sliced out, evenly. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So she's just like, she just wants to put that out there. I also feel like she talks about a male in the family who would have, like this is like I keep hearing the word stroke. Would you understand that?
Not related to her.
Because it's either going to be a stroke or it's going to be an aneurysm, like a brain, like something in the brain.
She had brothers, and I want to say, I don't think my mom's still up in the chat room, so she wouldn't know. Or she'd be able to tell me, but I feel like she might have had a relative that passed away. I wouldn't have known them.
Okay, no worries. Because I'm just being made aware of someone who's standing next to her, a male, and he keeps telling me like it was either like a stroke or an aneurysm or something that went to the brain. So this is interesting. I feel like what am I smelling? It's going to drive me nuts. Was she a baker? Because it's like so thick. It smells almost like banana bread or something with bread or something like that. I can't even put my finger. It's driving me nuts, but it smells so good. I want to eat it. You understand that?
Banana cream pie.
Oh my God. It's like bananas and it's so like
It's my favorite pie she would make.
Oh my God. Okay, good. So she's like making me smell it. I'm like, what is that? It's like banana, like she would bake it or
She made
something.
I'm a pie lover because of my grandmother. A strawberry rhubarb would have been my second favorite, but banana cream pie when I could get her to make it.
Oh my God, I love that.
Yeah.
Just whipping it up.
I compare everybody's cooking to my grandmother's. So yeah.
I love that. That's so good.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Only thing I can think of with the gentleman who wouldn't have been related to her to be on my father's side is my grandfather.
Oh, was it like a stroke or like an aneurysm sort of thing with him?
I'm not sure. He had my grandmother, just so you know, so I can validate this for you. She died of Alzheimer's. And it's exactly as you said, as it went down, pretty much.
Yeah.
And she showed herself to me the day of her wake. I was at work, and I know people have heard the story, but I was in my bathroom steaming this clothing piece because I work retail clothing. And the mirror went black suddenly. And I saw like this kind of candlelight glow, and her face appeared in it, smiling at me. And I like broke down, and I went out on my floor to tell my associates I need to take a break. And they started going, hey, man, something really weird just happened. Like, there's like this huge gust of wind that came through the store. And the kid one of the kids telling me is a total skeptic of this kind of stuff. You always joking on me. And he's saying, I felt it go through me. This happened the same time I saw her.
Wow.
And my thought at the time when I was, deeply in thought is like, is somebody confused about their, because, she would just say, my beautiful boy. Like, she would recognize me. She said, my beautiful boy. I even got that in not EVP, but a spirit box come through from her once when I was first experimenting. But that was her last words to me. She really had no idea where she was or what was going on. To us, that's what it appeared. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, I hope that she was there. She heard us, heard all the stuff. Yes, my mom did a lot. It took a big toll on her.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But my grandfather passed away from dementia, but he didn't speak for the last 2 years of his life, so he might have had a stroke.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. She was just standing next to a male, and he kind of was like cutting her off a little bit. So I don't know if your grandpa had the personality to just like when people were talking, like throw his stuff in the mix or what?
I wouldn't know. Our relationship was strained.
Okay. Yeah. And it's probably one of the reasons he was like kind of just floating in the background. Because a lot of times I will see like people who have apologies to make, they'll just be standing behind the person who's talking, like, to make amends, but they don't know if like you'll accept them coming through. So they kind of like are just around, and I see it a lot. Yeah.
But I want to say, I'll have to ask my mom that I don't know if my grandmother, I think all of her brothers are now deceased. I don't know if one of them had an aneurysm. It sounds familiar. I don't know. But it's the only other I can think of is with him. Because me and my father's side, me and my grandfather had not like we were angry or at each other or anything like that. It was just estranged because my father was out of the picture.
Right.
So he has come through other times on his own too, and I've had experiences with him. So
Interesting.
yeah, my grandmother was like, that was the hardest probably passing in my family.
Yeah. She seemed like just a ball of love when she stepped forward. I want her to be my grandma. That's how I felt. I was just like, hey, And
Her
she was
hugs were
like,
the best.
yeah, she's a sweetie pie, and she just loves you because when she came forward, she just kept saying something like my baby or like you were her.
I said her words were I was waiting for you to say if you would say like my beautiful boy. I was like, oh my god, I would have lost it, but it's close. I could see what it's trying to come through because that's what she was just. She was just like she didn't know, she couldn't say somebody's name or recognize people. But like when I came into the room before she's lost the ability to speak, and last time she spoke to me, I held her hand and she goes, my beautiful boy.
Oh my god.
And
So beautiful.
it's like she was just nice that she could at least like that help me that she recognized something of me, whatever it is, in that sense. Because I don't wish it upon my worst enemy watching somebody go through that. It's really, really difficult to watch somebody slip away like that. So that made a lot of sense. You hit the nail on the head.
Yeah. I'm glad I was able to bring her forward for a couple of minutes.
Well, thank you. Hey guys, lines are still open if you want to call in, join the conversation. I don't know how much later we're going to go tonight. If you want to call in, 219-230-4444 is the quickest line. The other one, I don't know. I think somebody did call in on that other line, the Google Hangouts line. Not Hangouts, whatever it is, the Google line. There's Skype IDs, but they're not Skype anymore, and I don't know how those are working. But the main line, 219-230-4444 is the line to call in on. So thank you for that so much. That's what I'm saying. I didn't give you information. You don't know nothing about me, and you gave me pieces of evidential evidence in the sense of that you knew, her mind wasn't with her. It was the exact situation she died from. She could have died of a million different things. She could have died of a heart attack. She could have died of cancer. She could have died of all these other things, but you nailed it right on the head what she died of.
Yeah. It's interesting when they come through and they talk to me about the way that they passed, especially if it's something that feels super unfinished where people felt like they didn't get their real goodbye. You know what I mean? And they usually like to come through and when that happens and try to give a sense of peace. It's like, I was there. I did feel you. Sometimes they'll show me somebody holding their hand. They'll show me, one person showed me them like moving the ring around on her hand. She was in hospice at home and they were holding her hand, moving the ring around. And I knew that ring, the person who was holding her hand when they died had that ring, but that was the last time it was on her finger was the moment she died. And they were rubbing her hand and moving that ring around her finger. So, they'll just try to show these little things, you know what I mean? To prove I was there, I did see it.
I just missed a call. Whoever just call back in. It does this stupid thing. If I close out of the app, it just hangs up on them. I hate that. Think it's 386 area code. Try calling in again. I will grab your call here. Hopefully they call back. So if you just tried calling in and it hung up on you, sorry. I had closed out the app to check something else on the show and just forgot to open it back up, and it does that. It hangs up on people. Drives me nuts.
Technology.
But I think for me, during that time, when she was passing, that was the hardest thing. Is just even though I was into the paranormal back then when she passed away, know all the things I know, and I believe in an afterlife. It's still hard knowing do they suffer? Are they of clear conscious when they go over, and not afraid or anything? And from everything I've done on this show for 10 years and the near-death experiencers I've had on, I believe everybody is, and there's always somebody waiting on the other side. I don't believe anybody's alone when they pass, but it's great like what you do to help people have that kind of connection, because there's a lot of fear. Death, what's behind it for a lot of people is fear.
Yeah.
And I think people having these kind of connections help with that. Now we do have another caller. They did get through. Who do we got on the line?
Hi, Jason. This is Debbie Schmoley.
Hey, Debbie Schmoley. Thanks for calling in.
David Blair. Hello, everybody. I was wondering if you could possibly connect with my dear friend Brian. He was like my brother from another mother, and he passed away in September.
Okay.
And he's connected with me a couple of times, but I was wondering if you could get any messages from him for me or for his wife.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. He tells me that like nobody saw this coming. Do you understand that? I just feel like he's telling me it came out of nowhere. I just feel like sideswiped by this.
Yeah.
passing.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, he was jumping, playing his guitar, jumping across the stage, one day, and then
Gone the next.
he left for work, and he was just gone, and nobody expected it at all.
Yeah. He's telling me that this is interesting because he tells me that I think the thing that people loved about Brian is that he's kind of like Never Neverland. He like never wants to really grow up, but it's like in all the most
Yeah.
positive ways. You understand that?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Does somebody have his guitar pick, honey?
I have one of his guitar picks.
Yeah. Yeah. He's telling me
and they had a handful of them at his celebration of life.
Yeah.
And so that everybody could take one when he passed. But I've had his guitar pick for years. I've had some of his picks.
It's interesting because sometimes they'll give me dual evidence, which means not only does he know that you have his guitar pick, because he's showing me that, like, hey, talk about the guitar pick that, is owned and it was mine, right? So what they'll do is they'll bring stuff up. So it's also his way to say, look, I'm not gone from you. I know that you guys did that. I'm aware that you did that and I'm still with you. So it's just his way of wanting to give you a nugget to know, hey, trust your gut instincts. I'm always around. He tells me he talks to you through music all the time. You understand that?
Oh, yes. And I literally just wrote a song for him last month and have created some artwork with him too. So, but yeah, he's given me songs to give to his wife. He's given me songs for me. Yeah.
Is he a Pantera fan? Because he keeps joking about being with Dimebag Darrell.
Do what now?
Do you know who Pantera is?
I've heard of them, and I kind of know who Dimebag Darrell is. Once you said it took me a second. But yeah, I created some artwork with him playing with other musicians on the stage, but that have passed away. But Dimebag was not one of them. I put him with like Eddie Van Halen, who was his hero, and Stevie Ray Vaughan and Jimi Hendrix. But I didn't put Dimebag up there. So maybe he's wanting me to create an image with him and Dimebag.
That's so funny. He tells me just be patient with what happened with his passing, because he tells me that there needs to be patience because we don't have all the answers we would like just yet. Do you understand that?
Yeah, I mean, there's questions around like how he died and if he held any responsibility for him dying as soon as he did or not. We don't know if he was. Right. We kind of think that there was something physically wrong with him and he was kind of scared to go to the doctor about it, but we don't know if like maybe his drinking was, might have caused it to happen sooner or if he did anything else. Yeah. And, I mean, it doesn't matter. He's gone. We love him and we'll always be with us, but we don't have all the answers of what happened.
Right. So he's just talking about like having patience, just a little bit of patience until you can get all of the answers. And he knows that you won't judge him. He says you never have. You're not going to start now. He tells me you've never once judged him. He also makes me feel like you knew him before his wife. Did you know him before he knew his wife?
Yes. I knew him, 42 years. And longer than he knew his wife. We were literally on the road together. He and I used to be like roadies on the road together back in the 80s. We go way back. He was really, truly like my brother.
Because he's like, no, I've known her forever. I've known her longer than I've known my wife. So he's telling me you guys have been connected for a long time, right? Do you know who there's a female with a J name, like a Judy or a Julie or a, do you understand that?
Both of his daughters, they were his wife's daughters, but he kind of like adopted them when they got married. They both have J names, Jenny and Jessica.
Okay, because just keep seeing a J name, and sometimes when it's in the middle of my reading, it's so fast. It's like, wait, hold on, what was that female J name? But he's talking about that because it's important. So he also talks about the month of March being significant as well. So that's a birthday or anniversary. He doesn't want people to think he's missing.
Okay, I'll have to check into that. I know his birthday was in October, and his wife's birthday's in October, so maybe it's their anniversary. I'll have to check into that.
Okay, and double check with the girls' birthdays too, because it could be that as well. Because I know it's coming up.
Okay.
Yeah. So because he shows me the number 3, and that's usually either the 3rd of a month or the number is the month. So March. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it could be one of the two daughters' birthdays coming up.
Yeah, he's just really excited for everybody. He tells me you have his shirt. He tells me you have his T-shirt.
T-shirt. I don't know.
It's a black T-shirt.
You're a woman. You have his T-shirt. I guarantee.
Oh, I have an old Crash Rocket T-shirt, which is the name of the band that he's like most famous for around here. They're pretty big in Central Florida, and they have like songs on the radio and everything. And I have one of the original Crash Rocket T-shirts, and it is black. And on the front, it's got like Jägermeister, which I never drank. Ugh. But on the back, it's one of the original Crash Rocket T-shirts, like the first ones that they ever had made. And I'm one of the few people that still has one.
Yeah. Okay, because he's like, bring up the black T-shirt that she has of mine. Bring up the black T-shirt she has of mine. That's so funny.
I totally forgot I even had that.
That's so cute. I love it. But he's okay. He's safe and at peace on the other side, and he loves you to bits and pieces, and he keeps his fun and wild personality. No one's gonna hold him down. I'll tell you that much.
Oh yeah, we know that. We know that, and like I said, I've connected with him a couple times. He's come through to me and just given me some like absolutely mind-blowing signs that I couldn't have made up if I tried. They didn't make sense in the moment, but within like a week, all 3 signs made sense. And he's just been, consistent with that, but I haven't talked to him in a couple of months, and I just wanted to make sure he was doing okay. I know he kind of hung out for a while after he passed. He didn't want to leave right away, watching over his wife and girls and stuff. So I just wanted to check in with him and make sure he's okay and let him know that nobody here has forgot him. We're never going to, and he's with each and every one of us in our hearts, and he always will be.
I love that. He loves you too, for sure.
Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you for letting me call in, Jason and Damien. I greatly appreciate you guys.
Thank you, Debbie, for calling in.
Have a good night.
You too. That's the one thing I see with a lot of the readings from mediums like you is that, people that the personality's there. Who they were is still there. People are like, well, I mean, if somebody, this is the one. So like, he's a fun-loving one. But do you run into like some personalities that are a bit abrasive? I can think of some other loved ones that could come through. You'd be like, oh boy. Yep. I'm saying, like, do you get that? Is that personality still stick on the other side, even if they're not? I don't know how to put it. Nicely.
Yeah.
A-holes.
No.
They
stick.
So if they're an a-hole on this life, on the other side, they can be a bit of an a-hole on the other side?
Yep, for sure. Yeah, or they're just showing me who they were when they were in the physical world.
So people recognize it.
People recognize them, exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I think people get a bit, from the near-death experiencers, and I think a lot of people, this is the personality, this is the facade we put out, right? But so that has to connect. But I think with people, when they pass over, they reach that higher level. Are connected to that, but there's like the fragment of the ghost that's left behind in a sense. It's that picture of what they were in this world. Mm-hmm. People have to connect to still that personality. But there's much more to a person than that, I think, when it comes to the soul. Like we talked about earlier, like layers and that. So it's awesome tonight. You're definitely hitting the nail on the head for everybody who called in, and myself personally. So if you're willing to stick around, we're going to go to one more commercial break here in a few minutes. We'll see if we can squeeze in any other phone calls. But before we do, I want to get out. So mediumbrookeashley.com. If people wanted to book like a reading for you, they're going to go through your website?
Yes, yes. You just want to go through my website, mediumbrookeashley.com, and you can book a reading right there whenever you'd like. There's a coupon code as well. 65 sale is the coupon code to get 65 off right now through March.
That's yeah. Okay, so there you go, people. If you don't get to call in tonight, or you want a deeper reading, if you did call in, for anybody that has, that's the way you want to do it. Trust me. I mean, like, it's great. I want the calls. I do. I love this because we're definitely seeing the connection, and I love it. There's a powerful thing with it. Like I compare it to, like I said, like when if you ever been to a church that has very committed people to the church, and they gather together. There's an energy there. A feeling, a connection. I get that same feeling from when a medium does this connection when they connect with spirit to somebody else. It's the same feeling. It's that presence. I call it God, love, whatever, but that's what it's through. It's only through love.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, nobody's going to come to you like, I want to connect to this person. I completely hated that jerk. Let's talk to him, Nobody's connecting through that. Nobody's going to want to on the other side, I'm saying? It loves the powerful thing. It binds across the universe, past the veil. Like I said, my grandmother came to me, showed herself to me. But why? Because she loves me and I love her, and she could see how I worried about her passing. It's strong enough for her to make herself appear to me in a mirror and have other people feel her come through my store.
Yeah. Yeah.
So to me, love is the number one way. Connect to your memories. I always tell people too, if you want to really, connect to somebody that you love that's passed on, ask them to. Speak it out loud before you go to bed, and they might come to you in a dream, because I've dreamt of my grandmother as well, besides the other experiences I felt were just as much as real.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I think it's so powerful, and they know what you need, and they know what you're capable of. They know how connected you are to the spirit world, or what your gifts are, and they'll try to utilize those if they can, for sure.
Yeah, I see evidence of that all the time, and that's why I tell people is like they're always around you. I think people, once they open their minds to this, especially the synchronicity part, a big one on that. Like when you start noticing the patterns of something trying to communicate with you, I call it God. Trying to communicate with you. When we start noticing, it's gonna open up a whole new world to you. It really will. I think spirit, God, all of it's one is trying to communicate to you every day. It's always with you, and it will be with you when your time comes. And nobody's alone. We're going to go to our last commercial break. We've got about less than a half hour left with our guest tonight, Brooke Ashley, Evidential Medium, Paranormal Investigator. We will be right back.
Intercepted transmission of unknown origin.
Transmission? Out here?
SOS.
Human.
Unknown.
Alien. Certificate X. Exclusive engagement at the Odeon Leicester Square. Now.
Any systematized transmission indicating a possible intelligent origin must be investigated. I don't want to hear it.
In space, no one can hear you scream.
If you are interested in discovering the truth about the paranormal and want to hear from leading researchers in the field, join Justin Brown on his 3 weekly shows named My Paranormal Soapbox, Necromancer Live Show, and the Supernatural Symposium, live on Facebook, YouTube, and InterfaceDeath.net.
This is an APAC studio presentation.
Hi, I'm Barry, owner-operator of Barry's Barometer Barn. Lately, I bet you've been lying awake at night asking yourself, how many barometers do I really need? Well, at Barry's Barometer Barn, we think you need more than one. Otherwise, we're gonna go out of business. Remember, at Barry's Barometer Barn, we don't know the meaning of high-pressure sales. Come on, folks, buy another barometer. I'm trying to put my kids through college, I've got a family to support, and a secret mistress who isn't cheap.
Visit Barry's Barometer Barn, 000 Storm Drive. Come on, folks, buy a barometer. I'm Barry's older brother, Larry, and every time one of you people walk past the store without coming in, Barry beats me.
This has been a presentation from Tim Morgan's APAC Studio. For more almost professional amateur comic studio content, visit the APAC YouTube channel. Search APAC 2002. That's APAC 2002 on YouTube.
When Alex Gardner is asleep, he has an extraordinary gift. The government wants it, the scientists want it, but to keep it may cost him his life. It might be better if Alex didn't sleep at all, but he cannot resist entering the dreamscape. Can you? See Dreamscape in the West End and all over London now, Certificate 15. It takes an extraordinary adventurer to enter the dreamscape.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from Talkstream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Join us every Wednesday night at midnight Eastern Standard Time for Weird Wednesday, the live stream, with your hosts Jamie, the Living Dead Girl, and Rob, the Phantom, where we'll talk about all things paranormal, including zodiac, astrology, tarot card and oracle card readings, live ghost boxing and spirit communication, where we'll do Voices from Beyond, the Cold Case Files. So we hope you join us live on Facebook and YouTube every Wednesday night at midnight Eastern Standard Time. We hope to see you there. Bye-bye.
Since 1948, Fate magazine has brought you reports of the strange and unknown, all of them true. Fate Radio is carrying on that tradition, bringing you the unusual, macabre, strange, and bizarre. Join host Kat Hobson Sunday nights from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern on WBHM Digital Broadcasting.
Heat 'em up.
Do, re,
Be gone.
You're listening to Paranormal Soup, bringing you the weird every Sunday night. Call into the show and join the discussion. The call-in lines are 219-230-4444 or 260-225-9419 or by Skype caller ID OOJBland00 or JBland Paranormal Soup. And now to your host, Jason Bland.
Tonight's guest has been Evidential Medium and Paranormal Investigator Brooke Ashley. And man, we had some great calls tonight. She's definitely hit the nail on the head with these callers when she's done the readings. She did for me, myself. We got a little bit of time left. Might be able to fit in another phone call or two. The lines are going to be open. Let me get them open here. The lines are open. Call in. Join the conversation with our guest, Brooke Ashley. But we got to get rolling right back into it. Thank you for hanging out with us this late, Brooke. Like I said, you've definitely blown me away tonight. You hit the nail on the head for myself personally, and I could definitely tell with the callers we had tonight. So thank you so much for doing that.
Yeah.
Let me get the app open here before I forget, because then it like miss calls. I don't know why he does that. Here we go. See, I'm glad I opened it. There's a call right there. Would have missed it if I hadn't grabbed it. Who do we got on the line?
Hey, my name is Justine.
Hi, Justine.
I was wondering if you would do like an aura reading for me.
Yeah, absolutely, Justine. Sure. All right. Okay, Justine, give me just a second. Okay. All right. So, Justine, I do see a lot of like red and magenta in your auric field. And this tells me that, would you understand that you're a really passionate person?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's like passionate, or like you really believe in what you believe in, or you stand up for what you believe in. I feel like you have a really blue throat chakra too, which makes me feel like you say what you mean and mean what you say. So I feel like you don't have problems speaking for yourself. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I'm very open.
Yeah, definitely. So the red also shows me this. The red is good because it means that you're passionate and you're like ready to kind of stand up for what you think or what you believe in. Good. But also it can mean that sometimes you can have a little bit of a temper, or you can get a little fiery. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah,
Right?
it does.
And it's not necessarily a bad thing, right? It just means that like you have to make sure that you have balance inside of that, right? It's just about having balance inside of it, because it protects you and it allows people to not walk all over you. But it could, if it gets out of balance, it could be a little, it could get you in a little hot water, or start an argument with somebody or something like that. And then, you know what I mean? But I feel like it's good to have passion, right? I also see a lot of magenta, which means that you are naturally connected to spirit and you're like a thinker. You think. I feel like you're always in your head and you're always having ideas, but you're a deep thinker. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
I just feel like...
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. I also feel like the magenta talks about the fact that you are, what's the word I'm looking for? It's the wild and free, like someone who's just it's like a free bird. Do you understand that?
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah. I feel like I love that. I love that about you, because no one's ever going to be able to box you in, honey. No one's ever going to be able to box you in and make you be a follower. You're a leader. You're just 100% a leader, and you do your own thing. And I love that, because a lot of people go a whole lifetime and they can't find that, or they can't like pull that out of their like soul. You know what I mean? So it's a good place to be, right?
Yeah.
I love that.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. I do feel like you need to balance some of your energy in the way of your personal relationships, in the way of, I think that, would you understand having problematic relationships where you feel like you found someone to match you, and then all of a sudden it like turns into a disaster?
Yeah, definitely when I was younger.
Yeah, it just feels like relationships, and I don't always mean like, when I say relationships, I don't always mean like like a boyfriend girlfriend, or like a romantic. This could be friendships, it could be stuff like that. Do you understand that?
Yeah, that's what I thought you meant. Yeah, I definitely had like issues with that when I was younger.
Yeah. So I feel like I see that in your auric field, but I feel like it's interesting, because I feel like there's a lot of you where you've been able to take the lessons you learned from those negative relationships and apply it to your future. I feel like you don't fall for the same stuff you used to, or you don't have such a bleeding heart for people that you just want to help them immediately, and then they're just kind of stomping all over you. I feel like you've learned that. That's the positive thing. That's the magenta. That's the red. It's like you learn your lesson and then you implement it. You're like, well, I'm not going to do that again. And I feel like that's a positive thing for you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I feel like I definitely learned in the future, especially when it comes to people.
Yeah, definitely. So I feel like, Justine, it's you have a really beautiful auric field. There's also some on the outer layer. There's a lot of like sparkle. It literally looks like kind of like diamonds. I call it like the Edward effect, from Twilight. And this means that when you were, I feel like you were really open when you were young. I don't know if you lived in a haunted house or if you thought you saw like spirits or something when you were little, but I feel like you were super connected to the spirit world. And then something happened where you weren't really listened to, or you were told that was foolish enough of that. And it's like you had to snap out of that space. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, actually I'm a witch, so I'm very like into that now. I wasn't so much when I was younger, but it's something that I've very like stepped into.
Yeah. I feel like it was since you were born. Like I see it on the outer layer, and when I see it on the outer layer, that means that you came into this world with it. Like it was a part of you when you came into this world. And I feel like there might have been something going on in your childhood. I don't know if you remember actually feeling that when you were really little, but then it kind of faded away. And I feel like it was people around you. You might not be aware of it, but I feel like it was the people around you that made you feel like you couldn't stay connected to that. So I'm glad to see that you've come back to that, or you've reintegrated that, because that's like who you are at a soul level. Anything on the outside, especially in the childhood, something you came in with is part of the soul level. So I'm really glad to see that you integrate that into your space now completely. So you're right where you need to be, honey.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
I appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Justine, for calling in. She hung up. But thank you for calling in, Justine. She got quiet there, but she sounded so young. But yeah,
she knows
no.
a lot, though. She may sound young, but she's wise.
Yeah.
Years.
Well, you said the sparkle thing. That interests me, because when I was in my 20s, I started seeing like these blue sparkles coming out of people, or flying around me, or going in and out of people. Oh, dang it. I closed the app and somebody else calls in. Here we go. Hold on. I know this one, too. You're on air, Drake.
Hello, Beck. Hey. Oh, you recognize my number.
I should.
Well, you know, I was actually listening to on the way down from my long drive from North Cal, and I heard Ashley talk about, like, as young as being 14, as discovering some of the stuff. When I was younger, I was really into the psychic stuff, so I was so glad to be on a paranormal team in my 20s. We had a lot of good experiences with psychic investigators and things like that. So I don't know. Is Ashley, you there?
Yeah, you're there. You just got a lot of crackle that came through there for a second there on your line. It's a little crackly.
Not sure if it's my line or just me moving my headset around. But
I think that's what it is. I'm hearing. Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know if Ashley was doing a reading or anything like that, or whatever's.
Yeah, she can. She has been tonight. Hello? Drake. She's been doing it tonight. She's been really on the really good. I should say for myself. At least I can say personally for myself, she hit the nail on the head.
Ah. Well, so is she actually on right now? Because I can't hear her.
I'm with her right now.
Yep, I'm with you. What kind of reading are you hoping to kind of have me tap in? I don't have a lot of time, but I'm definitely able to, get in there for a minute or two, a couple minutes.
I was just wondering a few things, but I'm not quite sure. I mean, if you want to do an open reading on me, just because I just hopped in the last second. Yep. So there's really not much of an introduction here, since apparently I've been on the show a few times. So
she doesn't know you.
But if you want to do a general reading,
other information, right? So.
Yeah, so you just kind of want me to tap
so I guess
in
a general reading.
General, like what's going on with you right now?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's see if we can figure stuff out.
Famous last words, buddy.
Let's do it. All right.
Let's do it.
Like you're definitely someone who needs to embrace the options that you have available to you right now. I feel like you are someone who's creative, and you have a creative aspect of your mind, but I feel like sometimes you're not sure which decisions to make. I feel like you have a lot of ideas or things of that nature, but you have trouble like pulling the trigger on a decision. Do you understand that?
Yes, I actually do quite well. You are talking to a very creative person, believe it or not.
Yeah. I just feel like it's important for you to make sure that when you're doing like making a decision or you have all these ideas swirling around, like it's important for you to when I see this, when I see what I'm seeing, I always tell people you need to be a list person. You need to start making lists. You need to start writing things down and then start making like pros and cons lists in order to make decisions sometimes. Because I feel like you may have trouble like making that decision fully. And I feel like you're in your head a lot, or sometimes your emotions are too far in it and you feel like you can't see it. It's like too close to you, when it comes to decision making around your imagination and your creative aspect of your mind, right? I also want to talk about the fact that you want to stand up for what you believe in. I feel like you're someone who's very strong in their convictions, but I feel like there's a little bit of fear around that, or a little bit of it's a reminder not to have fear around that. Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes sense. I'm very strong at certain things, and you are pretty right on this correct track. Very impressively.
Right. So I feel like what needs to happen here is for you to be trusting your intuition, honestly. I feel like it's your gut instincts scream at you, and sometimes you talk yourself out of them, or you get so close to them that you can't see the result anymore, or you're confused about the result. So I feel like your intuition, you need to start trusting yourself more. I feel like it's already in there. You already know the answers, but you just keep talking yourself out of them. Does that make sense?
That does make a lot of sense. I do come up with a lot of ideas and lots of interesting, but laying them out sometimes is a problem, finding a direction to go. But it is
I think I've
right
heard
on
you
the
talk
track,
yourself
and you
out
have
of
that.
Drake, I think I've heard you talk yourself out of stuff on some of your phone calls of ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I believe so.
Mhm. So the best thing you can do in order to like reap the rewards, so to speak, or to like have the accolades of all of all of that stuff that goes on your creation, your mind, all of the ideas, in order for you to reap the reward of that, you've got to like sit down and start making like pros, cons list, or like journaling it out. Because I feel like when you have it down on paper, you can look back on it later and you can see where you might have been talking yourself out of things, or you can see where it's starting to veer, like you were in your gut instincts and then you started to veer away from it. If you start to journal, you can see where that's happening, and it allows you to trust your instincts a little bit better and be able to make decisions.
Instincts and decision. I'm writing that down.
Yeah,
right now.
start journaling, Drake. Start journaling, because when you start having ideas, just write it down. It doesn't even need to make sense. It could be a run-on sentence and not make any sense, but just start writing, because when you look back on it, you'll be able to see where you were starting to talk yourself out of stuff.
That sounds like a very good idea for creative people that get sometimes overwhelmed.
Yes, lists, journaling, making sure that you are, because then you can see where your gut instinct is as opposed to where your mind gets involved.
Well, thanks for that. I'm actually pretty impressed. You definitely picked up on my personality quite a bit, and I think sometime in the future we might actually cross paths. I do get that feeling.
I'm sure I'll be all over the country this year, so more than likely.
Knowing him, you will, because he's at these paranormal conventions I never get to.
I travel.
Yeah.
I go to conventions. I travel around a lot, and I like meeting lots of interesting people.
Yeah.
There's a reason why I'm also known as Drake the Dragon, so.
Hey, if you meet her, you guys take a selfie together and make sure you send it to me.
All right, I'll
Should be here
definitely
first.
find out that when I do run into more Paracons I'm planning to hit this year too. So anyhow, I guess I'll let the line up for anyone else who wants to call in the next 15 minutes.
Thank you, Drake. And yeah, you keep shamelessly plugging for me at these conventions, right?
All right, I definitely will. Yeah, I definitely will.
You'd be my spokesman. All right, Drake, you have a great night.
Maybe you could do a live cast at one of these places.
Yeah,
live
I've
broadcast
tried
one
that.
of these
Never
days.
again. Never again. All right, man. Have a
All
good
right.
night.
You have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, I tried to do a live cast a long time ago from like my friend Katrina Cooper's a medium, and I wanted to do it for her and my another friend, he's deceased, Rick Bunch was a medium, and they were like, come here and do a live cast from it. it was cool. It was cool, like to meet people, like to be there, and they were all interested. I had a live spirit box I was trying to do during it, but the live cast stream, no, it was awful. It was a complete horrible mess, and I'll never try to pack up my equipment again and do that. Ever.
I did that once with Tobe Johnson, and he couldn't use the footage because we were in like a bar restaurant area, and it was too muddled. Yeah.
Too chaotic. Nope. I don't touch this equipment anymore either. I'll
Yeah.
unplug it all. I ain't gonna
You're like,
touch it. No, it's a temple, and it must not be touched, as my children know not to touch Dad's mixing boards, computer. None of it. I don't unplug it all. Never going to do that again. But I'm always jealous of Drake. He gets to go to all these conventions and stuff, and I don't get to go. And I want to go one of these days. I do.
I'd love to see you there. I'm going to be at a few different things this year, so.
Yeah, I'd love to go to one. I mean, I have so many people I know doing this show 10 years now, and I've been invited to several. I'm on, father of two, and work and wife, and I get the kids up every day, so I don't get to do those things. So this is my retirement bucket list thing to do that one day.
Yep.
Get to go to haunted tours and go to these places, meet people like you and all that. Tonight, like I said, you really nailed it on the head. I've had mediums on before, and most of the time, I usually goes pretty good. And I've had some that have been hit or miss, and I won't say who. The proof is in the pudding. But tonight, you definitely put the proof in the pudding. I honestly grateful for you giving a reading to me as well.
Thank you.
Jamie, you didn't. I was going to say it's open if you want anything. No, okay, just double checking. I don't want to push you out. The lines are open, guys. We're going to be ending soon. If we can maybe, just a few minutes left here if anybody calls in. Otherwise, I'm going to cut you off because, we won't have time for that. So another thing is, the gallery readings and that. Are you doing those at conventions too?
Yes.
You do like that, yeah?
Yeah. Usually if I'm going to be somewhere, more than likely I'm doing a gallery reading because it's my absolute favorite thing to do. You can watch clips of my gallery reading on my Facebook page, Mediumship with Brooke Ashley. So if you want to see what is that like, I have clips of that on my social media accounts as well. So, but yeah, usually if I'm somewhere, I'm doing a gallery reading because if they don't let me do a gallery reading, it's usually not worth me financially coming out because I got to travel,
Yeah, I swear though, I don't know if you feel like this or not, but being with my different friends that have done these gallery readings, I have gotten to go to some of these. Like I said, I get why there's a spiritualist church. I get why they get into this because there's an energy in the room.
Oh yeah, yep.
It's like the spirit shows up, and it's something incredible. If somebody's never gotten to go to one of these things, I highly recommend doing it.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. The energy is unbelievable, and everybody seems to be in it together. They're crying for each other. They're focused in on the person getting the reading. Like they're supporting. They're like, it's great. It's such a wonderful feeling.
But I feel like you can feel the presences or a presence of something. You know what I'm saying? In these readings, these galleries I've been to, like just a few I've been to. Mm-hmm. Rick Bunch was a friend of mine. Like I said, was a medium, and I went to a couple of his. And then Katrina Cooper, I've been with at some of hers. And then those two did one together, which was really cool with a lot of people. And like I said, you can feel the energy once they start. It's like you feel something coming in. I don't know, a presence. Like I said, I consider it God, the force, love, whatever. But I think that's what binds all this together and makes it work, and the communication happen.
Yeah. Yep, I agree with that completely. It's a different ball game a little bit, But one-on-ones are great, and doing it over the computer is great. I hold that space for my clients, and that's beautiful. But there's just something different about doing it in person and having all of those people together. I also am faster and usually more efficient in a gallery reading because I'm like not focused on one person. I'm just like, okay, who's here? Next, and it just comes so fast. Not that my other stuff doesn't come fast. I'm a fairly fast reader, but I don't know. There's just something about spirit led because I feel like I'm not calling somebody specific for the person, which isn't an issue. I just feel like spirit gets to lead the whole night, which is really fun,
That's what I mean. That's what I mean about it. It's like there's something behind the scenes happening here that you can feel, like that it's pulling like this energy into the room and making it even more powerful. I've seen like mediums take off with this energy, I'm saying, like, it's more powerful than what they have, like just one-on-one. So it's like everybody, I guess coming together with this intent as a group makes it much more powerful. I always wondered.
I wanted to say real quick, I wasn't turning down the offer for any personal reason. I'm just really weird about personal readings, and I've just have been all over the place today. My moods have been all over, and it just does not feel like a good, reading.
It's totally understandable, Jamie. I just
No
want to make sure I
worries.
wasn't leaving you out.
No worries. No worries.
I felt bad for going, can you do a reading for me? Like, But yeah, but there's an energy there. And I like I said, I see why there's a spiritual church and why people get really into doing this as a group together, like they're coming together. I would love, I wish where I was, there was places for people to get together and like train, like, you've taken classes for that and that stuff. Do you offer classes for people on mediumship?
I do. So I offer online classes. That's how I took all mine too, was online, except for one that I went and did in person. But yep, all online classes. Right now I'm actually in the middle of a beginner to intermediate course. It's a 4-week course, but usually throughout the year I offer classes. I do 1-day crash courses for beginners. I do aura, teach people how to read the auric field, things of that nature. So yes, I offer different types of classes throughout the year. Yeah.
I always find it interesting too, like when you talk about the auric field too, like with the caller Justine that called in, like because I've had other mediums like you that they see it remotely. Like how does that work for you when you do see it remotely with the auric field? Because I've seen auras around people physically in front of me. But how does that work when you get that kind of information from a distance?
Yeah, so it just filters through my clairs. So either I'll see the color in my mind's eye, so I'll see it clairvoyantly, just in my mind, just a sheet of it, or it will just drop into my mind and it'll be a claircognizance. So claircognizance is clear knowing, which means that it just drops into your mind. So it's usually either clairvoyant or claircognizant that I'm getting the information. Yeah.
Again, that's awesome because like you said, there's different ways people have sensing and all that you're able to like recognize which way it is. Like I didn't understand it at the time when I had my experience that was clear knowing, or claircognizance, when I just knew this gentleman had hid this stuff and that he was an alcoholic. All that stuff just came to me.
Yeah.
Like that. I mean, under no voice, no nothing, just a clear knowing. For people to understand how these scenes and these communications work, that it's hard to like trust that or know that that's what this is. But when it happens, man, I swear, when it really comes through, from my experience, just the one that I really had, you just know it's nothing you're making up. It's just
Yep, exactly. And I think that's why people think mediumship is some sort of like crazy, fancy, wild thing, or it must be some sort of, we're getting it from like, it's so subtle. I think they just don't. If they understood how subtle mediumship was, they'd be like, oh my God, I think I've been doing this my whole life, because
right.
It's so subtle.
Well, that's what I say. I think people don't realize every day their interactions, there's ways that spirit's trying to communicate with them.
Yeah.
There's subtle little ways that they do it. The song that comes on the radio is like, one of the obvious ones for people. They recognize something. There's certain synchronicities is a big one for me.
Yeah.
Be it spirit world trying to come through, or what I believe is the force or God communicates through it, because they're the most miraculous things. What makes a mechanism for that song just appear at that right time, right? Mm-hmm. Or that particular kind of bird to show up out your door window when somebody passed away that represented them,
Yeah.
Those little things, only a higher power can make that work,
Yeah.
Something way beyond us in this material world. And, I want more people to realize that.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's, everybody has their own path and they got to get through a lot of this, like, kind of like earthly muck, to get to that spot. And I think it's, so it's always, for me, I'm always trying to meet people where they're at and understand like, I've been there. So you're not like, why don't they see it this way? Why can't they see it? I'm like, this is their soul contract. They're working through it. I had to work through mine. I got lucky enough that in this lifetime, I was able to, at 36, 37 years old, get the second half of my life feeling like the cloud came off of me and I understood something on such a deeper level. Like, how lucky am I? How many lifetimes may I have had to go through where my whole life I didn't get it, like, who knows?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. Like I've had 2 past life dreams that convinced me past lives are real. My youngest son Liam, had past life memories. Even named the battlefield in France.
Wow.
And I had no knowledge of that, but he
That's
knew.
amazing.
You know what I'm saying? And I saw him before he was born. I saw him
Mhm.
like 10 years before he was born. I saw this
Yeah.
translucent boy walk through my parents' living room the day I was moving out to go marry my wife.
Yeah.
And that's the boy I'm looking at now.
That's
that I saw,
amazing.
and he told my wife at 3 years old, he chose us, so we're, in our household, we don't belong to any particular religion, belief system, but we do believe in another side, and we do believe in past lives. We've had
Yeah.
these experiences. I myself, I know I have. I woke up from 2 different dreams. I was for sure that was a past life. I felt the death blow of both,
Yeah.
and was totally a different person. That's
Mhm.
another thing people I don't think. I mean, it's a kind of an Eastern concept that's made its way to the West, and more people are going to accept of it. But I really wish more people would look deeply into it, because I think it would change your perspective of who you are.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you understood there's so much more to you than this personality or ego that you are now.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. I think it allows you to have this bigger picture. I think the amnesia portion, it's needed for the purpose of being here, but it sucks at the same time. And how cool when you can have those little slivers or those pieces, how much cooler is it? How much more broad can your perspective become in that lifetime,
Ignorance can be bliss.
Yeah, it really can.
And the amnesia is there, is for a fresh start, a new. You're still you. You're still whatever that was before, but the memories and all that stuff, you're not gonna have a fresh start with that if you remember it all.
Yeah.
But I think at some point you have to, some point, realization has to happen with the soul in their journey, that they recognize these other parts of themselves, that
Yeah.
they're there, that they're more than this personality. I think that was a big awakening for me when I've had my 2 visions. I feel very lucky to have had. So that's a big part of it. Well, I want to thank you so much for being on the show tonight. Any last information you want to get out to the audience?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. You guys can find me at mediumbrookeashley.com. You could find me on my Facebook, Mediumship with Brooke Ashley. On TikTok, I do readings all throughout the week, mini readings. You could find me there on Earthly Imprint Paranormal. That's the TikTok I usually use. But then you can also see me this year. You can find me at the Oregon Ghost Conference in March. You can find me at the Olympic Paranormal Sci-Fest in Washington in May. I'm actually going to be heading up at the WashU Convention in Virginia City, Nevada in April. I will be in Berlin, Wisconsin at the Great Lakes Paranormal Conference the beginning of September, and I will be at the Boyd Paranormal Convention in Minnesota at the end of September. And I'll probably have some things sprinkled in between there soon enough.
And you might run into my friend Drake. Who knows? He's at a lot of these. If you do, like I said, send me a picture of you 2.
I'd love it.
You may hear first. Well, thank you, Brooke. Again, I'd love to have you back on the show on a later date. And it was an honor to have you on. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, guys, that is it for the show. We will be back next Sunday, same bad time, same bad channel, with Hakeem Eisler. We're going to talk about his event, the PSI Games, and psychic development. Next Sunday, 10 p.m. Central, 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific Time. Check us out on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. Thank you to everybody who donates on our Super Chat. Thank you, Josh Turner, for your $20 donation tonight. Thank you, James, for your donation as well. Thank you to our Patreons and our YouTube channel members. You guys help pay the bills. It's greatly appreciated. And keep sharing out the show and telling your friends. Paranormal Soup, where the weird happens live every Sunday night. All right, guys, thanks for joining us tonight. Have a great night. See you next Sunday.
Hey!